All right, we are live. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to episode 68 of Geekery Abides. Let's go ahead and hit the intro and get started on the episode here. As we are here in early September, we did warn you guys that we'd be moving.
Yes.
Last time we forgot the other show until the very end, which meant that we remembered for this one. But we are here for episode 68. Let's go ahead and hit the intro and get rolling.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
You the proud, the geeky.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
Hello and welcome to episode number 68 of Geekery Abides, where we are talking about Batman Begins in the main topic. My name is Tad, and with me as always is Peter.
Hello.
And I just thought about it just now, like in the last few days. Maybe we'll start doing here, just as this little kind of throwaway, is 68. I did think of the year.
Yeah.
1968. Because
1968.
I will call it out, one of the best years in genre movies of all time. You had the Night of the Living Dead, you had Planet of the Apes, and then you had, God, there's a third one. There's three really big genre movies that ended up coming out, seminal movies too. Was it Space
2001:
Odyssey?
A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, Space
Rosemary's Baby
Oh yeah,
came out
yeah,
that
Rosemary's
year.
Baby. So yeah, it's just a massive year. Like I've often said that if you had to go put your hat on one fucking year for genre, it's hard to beat that, right?
1994.
The launch of the zombie franchise, Planet of the Apes, one of the greatest sci-fis of all time. 2001. I mean, that's still one you watch today, and it's like, wait, this wasn't made in like the 80s. Like,
Yeah.
it just is so far ahead of its time in a lot of ways. So,
I'd be hard pressed to pass up 1994, sir.
for how
That year was
for genre.
no, just for movies in general.
No, I'm talking just genre,
Oh,
because
just
just because of that, like you're talking, Rosemary's Baby, Space Odyssey, Planet of the Apes, and then fucking George Romero kicking off the goddamn zombie craze that to this day is still happening. From what I understand, they're developing a new World War Z movie.
I love zombies.
Yeah, exactly. It's just huge. Yeah. I mean, whereas like slashers, it's harder to pin down because hey, you got Psycho in 1960 and whatever. Like there's just, you don't have that same alignment with a lot of different things. So, pretty cool. I don't know. I just thought about that. I'm like, maybe I'll just have a little throwaway thing to say for each of the numbers for the next little bit, because I feel like I know a lot more when you get to the late 60s and on for most years when it comes to geekery. So. So we're talking, of course, if you want to help the show out, of course, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications here on the YouTube side. If you want to email the show, I guess I can pull that slide up. Email the show. You can shoot emails to either of us at peter@geekerabides.com or Tad, T-A-D-D, at geekerabides.com. That is the way to contact the show. We go every other show on these, so the odd ones are me, the even ones are Peter. If you have some notes or emails or whatever to go along with any given show, just shoot them to whichever of us it is directly, and that is your way to chime in if you're not joining us live in the
This
chat.
is where Peter does his sneaky, did I check the email check on his phone?
Maybe you just need to set a calendar reminder or something.
I should, honestly. That's a good idea.
I'm usually pretty good about checking mine while I'm just doing the prep, just because I'm prepping out the episodes and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that annoys me is that with the whole custom email address thing is you can't just easily plug that into Gmail. 'Cause I
Right.
think that'd be way easier. I think you can attach it to your Google phone Gmail.
I have it on my phone.
But you can't do it as easily on the desktop. And
Yes.
when I'm doing prep and stuff, it's way easier for me on the desktop. So
Yeah.
that's slightly annoying. So
I do have the notifications turned on, so if someone emails me, I should be getting a notification, because John emailed me last month for Harry Potter 3.
okay.
And I did get it, and I did read it and everything. It's just that sometimes notifications are wonky, and
Yeah.
you have to like actually go to the email.
Or when you're going and swiping to delete notifications,
Oh, you don't
and a
even-
new one
yeah, you
comes
don't even
in,
notice,
and
yeah.
you swipe one that
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I didn't know what that was, so that's terrible.
Well, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone forever. No, I'll never know what it was. But yeah, that is that for the intro stuff. Let's go ahead and jump on over to watching, reading, playing. It's your episode.
I'll go first. I haven't been watching a ton, actually. Football started. Wrestling is still big for me. I did watch The Conjuring Last Rites with you, Hayden, and my wife Lydia last night.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. I am watching Peacemaker Season 2. I am an episode behind. Episode 3 I have not had a chance to watch. And then, of course, I watched Batman Begins because that is the main topic of the show today.
Yeah,
So,
I guess I did forget to put that on there because I always put the main topic ones usually at the end, and then sometimes I forget to put it after I type stuff in.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And then reading, I finished The Stand for our other show, Stephen King, love it. And I was talking to one of my coworkers at work about World War Z, you mentioned it, and it just made me want to read it. And then I've been playing Ready or Not, Mortal Kombat 1, Days Gone, and Hitman I fired back up. And it's like a collection on Steam, so it's not
Yeah.
just one individual game, but I'm currently in Hitman 1. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't remember which one it was I played.
I think it's the first one.
So you got the party or whatever.
Like the
mansion.
Paris fashion show.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
very first mission, yeah.
Yeah, I played that one.
Before we move away from it, I had a thought about World War Z that I
Okay.
wanted to talk to you about. I have the perfect format for them to make this into a legitimate, because the movie's god-awful. It doesn't follow the story at all whatsoever.
It's pretty standard.
The story of World War Z is that it's a person post-zombie apocalypse interviewing survivors and getting their stories. And then he's supposed to be doing a NATO report, and the NATO report is basically just like takes the cold hard facts that are given by the survivors. He's like, well, what about all the stories? And the person from NATO is like, you got your notes? Write a fucking book. And so that's the book. I think I figured out the perfect way, because I loved what you said on our other show about the zombie survival guide. Someone used to get permission from Max Brooks just to make it like a YouTube tutorial video.
Yeah, adapt it as like make it like it's like a real tutorial videos like on YouTube. But
Here's how you take a saw blade and attach it to a hockey stick, or a rake handle, or a broom handle, or you know, whatever. And everything.
Yeah, that'd be the best way to adapt that, because it's not really a narrative.
No.
So
It'd be so much fun for someone to do that while it's a zombie apocalypse outside. So it's like a survivor, like the guy from The Last of Us.
yeah,
Like him.
Yeah,
Imagine if Bill did the zombie survival.
dude, would you not
guy.
make it Nick Offerman?
I mean, that's like the perfect casting, right? Maybe it's a little too on the nose because of what he was.
No, because he's also just
such.
such a. It's not even that. It's just that he's such a handyman
Yeah.
in real life that it's like, what are you gonna do, him or Al from Home Improvement?
Yes, there you go. But I had the idea for World War Z. What you do is you take the individual story and you make it an episode. So you start each episode with kind of like, I know you never watched it, but How I Met Your Mother. Most of the episodes start with the kids on the couch, and it's from the dad's point of view talking to his kids. Have I ever told you the story about how I stole this from a restaurant? No. Well, let me tell you that story, and then it goes into the episode. I think that would work really well with World War Z, because there's like ones where it's like it's an Indian soldier and they have to blow a bridge before the zombies reach them. And it's like, imagine him sitting in a cafe talking to an actor, and then it goes to the actual thing, and then it comes back at the end of the episode, and it's like, that's how I survived, and everything like that. I think that's the perfect way to do it. You do it just maybe in a mini series. You do like 6, 8, 10 episodes. You pick the best ones out. I got my favorites of the story, and you just do that for World War Z. Just do a limited series on HBO, and that's it. That's all you do. You don't have to make it this big colossal blockbuster thing, but just imagine that.
Yeah,
That would be so cool, because you still get the zombies, but you also get the interview stuff that's the bread and butter of the book. So.
Yeah, indeed.
So what about you? What have you been reading?
So I'll go backwards. Playing Ready or Not, and then I did throw NCAA football on because that time of year. So
I'm so jealous. I can't play college football.
Went and played a game or two. I can't remember. Yeah, so it's always fun. I don't know. I love that stuff.
I'm gonna find out whoever at EA is not willing to put that out on Steam and kneecap them.
And then reading, still The Stand. I haven't had any other reading in the last couple weeks, or last week. I guess we've only had 1 week since the last episode.
Yeah.
So I did watch Batman Begins. I did.
That's why my list is so short.
Yeah,
for watching.
Has
it's
only
been
been a week.
1 week. Okay.
Yeah, same with news. And then Batman Begins, of course. Alien Earth, I finally caught up on that after we recorded. The next Sunday, I was 2 episodes behind. I watched one on Sunday, and then Tuesday, the new episode airs. I watched the last one I was behind on, and then immediately followed it up with watching the new episode that
2 episodes
day.
back
So,
to back.
yeah, and then still watching The Good Wife as well, just on the legal procedural side. And then Peacemaker. So I did want to mention a couple things on Peacemaker. So I don't remember if we discussed it, but they retconned the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about that?
The Justice Gang.
Did we talk about that, or did we? Because I had it in my notes for news. But we never got to news last time. But did we discuss it in the watching, reading, playing at all?
I don't think that we did.
Okay, it's just kind of interesting. So they basically reshot that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't really reshoot it. It was just they just plugged in new like close-ups of that to where it's
they
now.
replaced Aquaman with
And the Aquaman
Mr.
and the
Terrific,
Flash, right?
And
Where
the
the
Flash with Green Lantern, right?
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. I did kind of enjoy that. That they did that because I mean I love the Justice Gang. I love them all a lot. They replaced Superman with Mr. Terrific, where you could kind of or someone that's flying. They replaced so you could kind of see Mr. Terrific in his chair, and like they don't show the actor. They just you could see the silhouettes. I think Superman's still Superman, but there was somebody else that was flying in the original scene, and they swapped it out to be Mr. Terrific. So
Mr. Terrific. So I pulled up a side by side. In the original, it's Superman, Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg is what it looks like. A little bit bulkier. I don't think it's maybe it's Wonder Woman. In the James Gunn, it's Mr. Terrific, Superman. That's Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and
can't tell because of the bowl cut.
It's a shadow tad. I mean, you can't see the bowl cut.
Bowl cuts are pretty distinctive, sir.
And then it's got the mineral changing guy.
Yeah, Metamorpho.
Metamorpho, yeah. That's it.
I have seen some reaction videos that made me laugh when what was his kid's name? It was like Gary. Just like a very basic name. There's a couple of people in the reaction videos who are like, wait, that's his fucking name? The baby, because it's like it's his alien baby and shit.
Yeah.
It's just got the most basic ass fucking name.
Yeah, because they live on Earth.
And then the only other thing, and you've seen a little bit of this. This is more of a call ahead. So not a lot of spoilers to say because the way this episode you watched last ended with Peacemaker, he's going back into the other universe.
Yeah.
So you spend a little bit more time. I noticed it in that episode you've seen, but it's been added to a little bit. I think 100% that universe is the Earth X, I think is what it is in the DC, where the Nazis won.
Oh.
Because there are no non-white people in that anywhere. There's no background actors. Like, it is white people across the board. In the first episode, the one that you've seen, you see, like, the collage with him, his dad, his brother, his dad. Like, why would they have that when his dad's, like, a fucking white supremacist?
Yeah.
And then like it's not spoilers to say like you're going to spend more time in it. And the whole time I was watching, and I ended up going and rewatching what are we on, 3 episodes now?
So the 3rd episode I literally just was looking that up because I'm like, is there 3 or 4 episodes now? It is 3 episodes.
So
I've seen 2. You've seen 3.
I went and rewatched the 2nd episode because I was like, not the whole thing, but I remember I wanted to watch the other universe stuff, just whatever. Because I was also trying to piece together like, okay, how does this plug into Superman? Are we in Superman's universe in the primary Peacemaker universe, or is this new one? So I was watching those scenes, and it's like hit me. I was like, wait, there's like, because I also realized like, oh, we hadn't seen Adebayo, whatever, and like, so I was like, whatever. And before the 3rd episode, I've rewatched that 2nd episode, and then the whole 3rd episode, I'm just watching every background actor. I'm like, show me a Hispanic, show me an Asian, show me someone black, like show me something. Nothing. So I think that we're going to end up finding out that that's I think it's
rolled.
Like, a man from the high castle or man in the high castle type Nazis won the war or white supremacists, whatever. Just as you watch the 3rd episode, you can keep an eye out for it too. But I kind of have a suspicion that that's what we're gonna end up finding
Yeah.
out. He's gonna love this world, and it looks so great.
And then
Nobody
he
hates
finds
me.
out that it's Nazis.
My brother's still alive, and like my dad actually loves me.
Yeah.
And we're gonna end up finding out. Isn't that the perfect storytelling
Oh,
too?
it's so good.
Where it's just
pull
like
the rug out from under him, kind of thing. His girl likes him, but
Yeah.
he broke her heart, so she's willing to take him back, and then find out she's like a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
God.
So that's just something I clocked, and it panned out in the third episode. Not a lot of spoilers, because I'm still spitballing ahead for like what might be coming down the road. Because
you just have a hypothesis about the sequel.
yeah, I'm just like, it's just weird because like you don't pay attention to background actors very often, but it caught me at some point where I was like, oh, we haven't sent out a buyout. I'm like, oh, and she's like the one not white person in the group, and I'm like, then I started watching background actors in the second episode. I'm like, they're all white. And then I
You don't see a lot of that universe in the second episode.
no,
so.
but what you do see, and then like so the third episode I went in with like, my antennae up, where I was like, I'm watching now, and like every scene, there's even some scenes I had to go back because I was watching the background so heavy. I'm like, okay, I'm rewatching that scene because I'm like, I was just watching background actors because I was just not watching, but I was just clocking every character.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, okay, there's 10 people in the background right now. Let me go through and
White.
Yeah. So let's keep an eye on that.
Okay.
Loving it though. Loving this show.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't necessarily care for him in Suicide Squad. That's why it took me so long to actually get around to watching the first season, even because like I didn't care for him necessarily. Like it was well acted and stuff, but like he wasn't a likable character at all. And like why would I watch a show with that guy? And like having watched the first season, I was like, oh shit, I was way wrong because they've made him a really enjoyable and relatable character and stuff. So, and a lot of good storytelling. So I'm digging the show a lot. I judged it too harshly. It makes me wonder if I should go and watch some of these other things like Creature Commandos and there's one other thing that James Gunn's done on the TV side. So I'm debating it. I haven't committed to that yet. I don't know how deep I want to go.
We're going to hear this a little bit later with our main topic. Maybe.
Yeah, but that's all I got from my watching, reading, playing. Fairly short because it's been a week. So.
All right. My wife says start with the short ones. Reading nothing, playing Laundry Store Simulator and Disney Dreamlight Valley. Watching though, she finished Upload. She watched The Conjuring 3, Conjuring Last Rites.
How about that giant Annabelle?
That giant Annabelle was quite fun.
Also,
she can pick you up. Like
I wore this specifically for your wife.
Oh, we all float down here, Pennywise shirt.
Yeah, because she just watched it.
That
too,
is on her
so.
list. Yeah, Conjuring Last Rites, In a Violent Nature, Talk to Me, Heretics, Sinners, Final Destination, New One, Death of a Unicorn, Misery, The Howling, and It, the 90s series. And she says no, rude in the chat.
So, Last Rites aside.
I guess I did watch In a Violent Nature. I didn't put that on my list.
okay.
I watched that with my wife, yeah.
So, with the other horror movies outside of Conjuring, what's your favorite one you've watched there out of that list?
Out of that list, yeah.
Yeah, because there's some good ones in there. Talk to Me might be one of my favorite. Like that one just blew my socks off because I went in with no expectations. It's like, okay, like this is just be another like 5 or 6 out of 10 horror movie modern.
Yeah.
That's just what happens. And I walked out going, I want 3 more of these like right now. Like this was just a fucking killer premise. It was very well done. Just everything about it I loved. Heretic was fucking incredible. Sinners was really good.
In a Violent Nature was amazing.
In a Violent Nature, yeah. So I'm just curious with like, especially with those, like which one, like, is there a standout? Would be my question.
Or
there.
The Final Destination.
Final Destination, that was really good. There's been a lot of memes because there's a dance thing, and you see it in the trailer a little bit. There's a song, and now they're putting that song on a bunch of things where it's like you see like a logging truck driving down a road, and like they put that music underneath, and it's like, they've created a meme out of this. So
She says, honestly, I think Sinners is my favorite. Talk to Me was fantastic.
yeah, Sinners was really good. Did you watch any of them then?
I did. I watched In a Violent Nature. The rest she watched. And It I watched with her, but the rest she watched alone.
Okay, yeah, you should prioritize all those other ones. Talk to Me, Heretic, and Sinners.
Yeah.
Those are good.
And Final Destination.
Final, yeah, but like those, I'm just thinking like the most recent. Like I've seen those a lot more. I guess Final Destination.
That's the newest one,
but
except for Last Rites.
But
so.
it's also like not original. It's a sequel. So
Yeah.
like brand new thing, shiny. New.
I have a special place in my heart for Final Destination, though. So
I mean, who doesn't love a logging truck? We don't see them in Utah though. We don't have trees here to cut down. So all we have is shrubs, and tumbleweeds.
yeah,
So.
I mean, first date with my wife was to see a Final Destination movie. So yeah,
I want to go up to the Pacific Northwest just to see a logging truck.
I mean, you could see them in Idaho, Tad. They have them there.
I thought it was
Yes.
it's all potatoes up there.
No, yes, we saw them when we went up to Yellowstone earlier this year. There was a couple times there was logging trucks, and we were like, nope. Mm-mm.
I love it. Good stuff. All right, so that brings us over to the main topic.
Okay, we're gonna dive right into it. We both rewatched Batman Begins. It is not my first time rewatching it since it originally came out.
And I rewatched it on disc back in the day, but it's probably been 15 years or
Yeah.
so. Wait, when did it come out? 2000?
5.
Okay, so yeah, that's doable then. It's probably about, I want to say that was probably within the first, 3 to 5 years after it came out that I watched it on disc, and I did realize, though, I streamed it.
You don't own it?
I forgot I did buy a 4K box set with all 3 of the movies.
Oh,
I would have thought I wouldn't have bought that because in my mind, I like one of those 3 movies. So I was like, but I think I was on such a sale that I was like, I think literally what it was is I could buy the box set for, call it 35, or it was 29 for Dark Knight.
You're like,
I'm like
I might as well. So that was actually one of my first questions is, do you even own it? Because I remember back in the
Shockingly,
day.
I do.
I remember back in the day, the first time I ever saw it was with you, was at your house, but I rented it from Hollywood Video because it was after we turned 18 and we were allowed to rent videos. And I remember bringing it over, and then I remember watching it with you, and both of us were just like, this is such a garbage movie. This was so fucking dumb. And we both hated it. I remember driving back to Hollywood Video and dropping it off into the Dropbox and just being like seething mad. Like, I spent money on that. Like, that was dumb. And just for years, both of us hated it. And then I finally rewatched it in probably 2015, 2016. Let me fact check myself.
I know you ended up kind of turning positive on it after you started reading comics more.
I read Batman Year One was the big thing, and then the animated show came out for that in 2011. Yes, the adaptation to 2011. So I started playing Batman on Xbox because of Arkham City was a free game. I got really big into Batman. I played Arkham Asylum. I was really excited when Arkham Knight came out. I was like, you know what? I need to read comics. And then, that Christmas, Tad bought me 3 Batman comics. You bought me The Killing Joke. You bought me Year One.
And Halloween something, right?
And then The Long Halloween was part 1 and part 2. So you didn't buy me that one. It was 3 standalones. And I cannot remember what the third one was. I have to look through my collection and see if I can figure it out. I think I've even done this before on the show. But the Year One is such a fucking good story because it's not only about Batman, it's about Gordon as well.
Yeah.
It's about his transfer to Gotham after being a stand-up police officer and showing corruption. And they're like, get the fuck out. We can't trust you. Go to Gotham.
Yeah.
And everything. So
I have to say his partner at the beginning here reminds me very much of the corrupt cop in the Keaton film.
Right?
It's like
is that his son? What the hell?
They don't look the same, but just they are both heftier dudes. And they're both just scumbags.
Like the facial hair, the hair.
It's Porkins, isn't it? In the
original,
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, I just remember every time I haven't seen it in 15 or so years.
Yeah.
But I remember just as I was watching, I was like, oh my God, it reminds me of fucking Porkins from the first Batman movie.
So my first question for you is, do you have any distinct memories of what you didn't like about it when you watched it last time?
I don't. I know that because I did see it in theaters, and whatever. Or I think I did. Maybe I didn't actually. But either way, I just remember I don't remember if I was fully turned on the whole dark and gritty reboot thing.
Yeah.
But I know I turned on that at a certain point, and just because I was getting tired of it, it just felt like it was just the laziest thing to do for everything. Was oh, we're just gonna dark and gritty reboot every fucking thing in the early 2000s. Yeah. That was just the fucking thing they were doing across the goddamn board. I mean, even Casino Royale, they were doing it in Bond, they were doing it in comic book movies, they did it in the Spider-Man movies. They just kept doing it. It's dude, get over it. This is not I don't know. It just
it was done with a little bit in the X-Men. It was done a little bit with Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 2. 2 and 3, or
the
just
Amazing
3?
Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man ones. Okay, that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Batman Begins comes out in 2005. Dark Knight comes out in 2008 or 9. I always mix up that and Iron Man. I always mix
They're
those
both
two
in the
up.
same year.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, because that's always an interesting thing to look at, where it's oh, The Dark Knight, like what most people would say is probably the high point of DC film, film, and it's like what's happened since then versus Iron Man comes out and launches the MCU like
Right.
the same year. It's like, whoa.
And I think that's I think The Dark Knight came out. You really liked The Dark Knight, and then I think that's right after that we have Iron Man. And you're like, see, it doesn't have to be like
Yeah.
dark and gritty and bullshit.
And even early on, I remember because like they rebooted the X-Men with the First Class,
Yeah.
and it's like that wasn't dark and gritty. It's like
No.
I'm like, you don't have to like universally apply
Right.
dark and gritty to everything, and it just
So I think that when we got to the end of the 2000s, you went back and looked at Batman Begins and went, well, it's just a piece of shit because it's dark and gritty. So that's what I was wondering is like, did you have anything like specific aside from the dark and gritty that you're just like, God, I know one thing.
I still don't. I think Christian Bale is not a great Batman.
Okay,
Like,
that's
yeah, just in general. Like, he's a great actor, but I just don't think that like a great actor doesn't necessarily mean they have a great performance.
Yeah.
Like right. And I think that just in general, like if I'm ranking him, I don't think he ranks in my top echelon. And I also think that everyone got so fucking horny for it to the point where it was just like everyone tried to act like it was universal that he was just the greatest Batman of all time. And it's just like
meanwhile, Michael Keaton's standing there going, ugh.
yeah, and it's like I never turned on it. It's like the point I've always pointed. It's like Michael Keaton's better than Christian Bale. It's not even fucking close.
Yeah.
And like that was like an uphill battle for a long time, and now people have come around on it. I don't think people hate Christian Bale, but I think it's leveled off. It's like in the old days what I used to hate with IMDb is on like the top 250. Like you'd always get new movies that come out and they jump way high,
And then
they taper off and they'd settle back in like the 20s or something. Like I think Dark Knight ended up in like the top 5, and it's
Yeah.
like it leveled off and now it's probably top 20, which is like more realistic. Like no, Dark Knight is not top 5 movies of all time. It just is not. And even recently there was something where it's like, oh, they polled like X number of people and they found that The Dark Knight's considered the greatest comic book movie of all time, and I'm like, no, not even close.
it's third on the IMDb top 250.
Yeah, it's nonsense. That's bullshit.
It's
not-
ahead of Godfather Part 2, 12 Angry Men, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, Schindler's List, Pulp Fiction, like
Yeah, no, sorry. I mean, I know everyone wants to just whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, yeah. So I mean, and I like Christian Bale. His performance isn't necessarily bad. It isn't. I feel like in all the movies, all 3 of the movies, he's one of the weakest parts of the film. Is him, and it's like that's kind of tough when
that's the hero.
And the thing is, and I don't even necessarily want to fully hold that against him, because I will say that like I think that's easy to do, because I think oftentimes Batman's villains can outshine him.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's just like
I
that.
mean, look at Batman Returns with Danny DeVito's performance as Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer's performance as Catwoman. It's hard to be like, who's the MVP of that?
Yeah.
Is it Michael Keaton or is it Danny DeVito?
And Jack
Or is
Nicholson
it-
has the top billing in the first movie.
Exactly.
So
I do know there is one thing that you absolutely did not like about Batman Begins before rewatching it, is that you did not like Katie Holmes.
oh god, yeah, she's terrible.
You never liked Katie Holmes.
No, god, she's fucking
I remember
terrible.
that from back in the day. I wrote it down
Yeah,
like that. So
yeah.
So with that being said, with everything like that, let's get the Tad's honest opinion. Was it better than you remembered?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't put it in the realm of hate by any means at this point, but like I still think it's overrated.
Okay.
But like I think that I was certainly probably too harsh on it back in the day. That would probably be my I'd give it the I'd give it the Thanos line. Perhaps I've judged you too harshly.
And that's what I was honestly hoping for. I was not expecting you to come out being like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest movie that's ever been made." That's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I really
Also,
wanted
I try not to be punk rock in this sense of like when everybody just fucking just is on the dick of something that
Yes.
that causes me to hate it. I try to fight against it as much as I can, but there is part of it that will drag it down for me. Like when people are just like almost unreasonably fucking fawning over something, it's just
like the Dark Knight being the third best movie of all
yeah,
time.
it's just not, and I think that's bounced up because I think it had leveled way back down. So it must have come back up in the last.
Internet Movie Database has Batman Begins rated at an 8.2.
Yeah.
Where would you put it for? I mean, I know you don't like necessarily doing like a 1 through 10 most of the time.
Yeah.
But, would you?
No, 10 is what I like to do. 5s are what I dislike.
Oh, okay.
Which is like Letterboxd. It's like a big movie one.
Yeah.
They do 5 stars, but the nice thing is they have half stars. So I essentially use it as a 10 scale.
It's a 10 scale.
So it's like half a star is 1, 2, full
Yeah.
star is 2, and on and on and on. I'd probably say going in, I would have said like 4 out of 10 is probably
Right.
where I would have probably put it. Which again, I was far too unfair to it. I would probably say I'd probably put it up to like probably a 7.
Okay, that's
So-
honestly, that's exactly what my kind of expectations and hopes were for this, is that we would get it to where you're like, okay, I can throw this movie on. It's not the best movie,
Yeah.
but I can throw it on as a precursor to The Dark Knight, and I can watch those two movies. I'm not going to defend The Dark Knight Rises. I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
just-
I do not. I do not. And I have rewatched that one. Unlike Batman.
There's
Begins.
tried to be like, because like there was like early on, it was people are pretty critical of it. But then there's recently been like a revival of a sense of like people like, oh, I think we've all been too harsh on this movie. I'm like, no, you haven't. That movie is just not. It's like Spider-Man 3, dude. It's like Sam Raimi, like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And it's like with Nolan, it's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
I almost because I think there's people also try to like come up with this idea that he was going to do the Joker again, and so the whole thing was ruined because of what's his name dying. But like he's openly said like I had no intention of Heath Ledger being in this film at all, even before he died. That was never my intention. So
Hado's here.
So I think that's like I think people try to create mythology to help excuse it. Because again, it's like Hayden says in the chat, when people fawn over a director to a degree of every film they make is perfect is so annoying because it shows a lack of critical thinking. 100% agree,
Right,
and I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like I just saw it recently. Like I said, we just hit the 5-year anniversary of Tenet, and like people like whatever. I'm like, dude, Tenet was a fucking terrible movie. I am sorry. I tried 3 times to watch that movie. It is not a good movie.
Have
man.
you gotten through it or just not able to finish it?
I've got through it the first 2
okay.
times. The third time, I was like, maybe even the second time, I was in a bad mood. And no, it's not a good movie.
Gotcha.
There are some choices that Nolan made that was just like not good. Like
Okay.
so, but yeah, in the third film, it's like I really think he was just gassed. I just think he was whatever, and I just don't think I don't know who his writing partner was, if it changed from the first and second to the third, but like there's just the third one feels so radically different than the first 2 to where it's just like I don't get it, man. Like, and then like I remember some of the press releases where it's like, well, you know, like neither of the 2 first films really were a physical challenge to Batman. So like we're really excited to go and do Bane because it's like it's a physical threat and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember them even like slightly shit talking the shitty Bane movie. Which one was that? Was that Batman and Robin, or was that Batman? No, it was Robin. Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
You know, they talk shit on that. Well, they ruined Bane because he was just this fucking lapdog to fucking Poison Ivy and shit. Then what did they do in their movie?
He's a fucking lapdog to Talia al Ghul.
It's like, what the fuck? And then there was not even a good fight in that movie at all. Like the choreography wise, because I expected there to be like a really great like fucking killer Bane and Batman fight. And there's like the choreography of the fights they had were fucking terrible. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
When you watch the Nolan trilogy, and I love Hayden's joke, I rated a 3 out of Tenet.
Yeah.
I like that. I will say that I noticed it with so I had a really big issue with The Dark Knight. I got really back into Batman after The Dark Knight came out, after Dark Knight Rises came out.
Yeah.
And I got really into Batman. I rewatched the animated series. I started reading comics. I started playing the games more and more. I watched all of the animated movies I could get my hands on. And I still go back and revisit them. I watched Batman Year One a couple months ago.
Best animated one.
The best animated? The best animated Batman film?
Yeah.
God damn it, putting me on the spot like that.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if I've ever watched one. So let's just say you got to put me onto one to turn me on to
Mask
watching
of the
them.
Phantasm.
Okay, I figured it'd either be that or the Freeze one. What's the Freeze one called?
The Freeze one's down there. If I'm going to put you onto top 3,
I know Mask of the Phantasm's really well regarded.
Mask of the Phantasm, The Killing Joke.
I'm sorry, I have watched that. I have watched that.
It's technically cheating because it's a part 1 and part 2, but The Long Halloween is so fucking good.
Yeah.
And that's newer. That has Jensen Ackles as Batman instead of Kevin as Batman. But Mask of the Phantasm has Kevin Conroy as Batman. So and Mark Hamill as Joker, which I can't go wrong.
Yeah.
When those two play Batman and Joker, I can't go wrong. It's just it's not possible.
Yeah.
But I had a big issue with the Joker in The Dark Knight, and I was really critical of it. And I posted online. I had discussions with people where I'm like, I don't think Heath Ledger's Joker is true to the character. Because he says, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm doing this. I'm completely sane. I'm not crazy. The Joker knows that he's crazy and accepts it.
Yeah.
That's what makes him so terrifying. And so it's just like, they got the character wrong. Heath Ledger's did a brilliant performance for a psychopath.
Yeah.
But it's not the Joker, and everything like that. So I had the same kind of moment where I'm like, maybe I'm judging you too harshly. I rewatched it and I'm like, this is actually a really fucking good movie.
Yeah.
But when I was rewatching
And it's a great Heat.
it is
tribute
a
movie.
fantastic.
Also,
Heat.
let me just while we're on this before you go on, the one thing I want to say, I give all the respect to Heath Ledger, but he is the second best villain in that movie.
behind
Harvey Dent is a much better acting
yeah.
performance, in my
Dude,
opinion, than Heath Ledger.
Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah,
is that his name?
Aaron Eckhart. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think his fucking
That
role
was
as Harvey
so
Dent and
fucking
Two-Face
good.
is like, and it's like multi-layered, multifaceted, and I think that's what I give it credit for. And again, I'm not saying it to like shit on anything because I love Heath Ledger, but I think that
Yeah.
Heath Ledger gets overhyped to the point where I think people ignore the fact that like what Aaron Eckhart brought to that role, and
With
it's like
Two-Face,
because
yeah.
he also plays the Harvey Dent side. It's like I think
yeah.
the layers he had to play for that role. I'm like, we're all fucking sleeping on the fact that the best acting performance in that film, except for Gary Oldman, is Aaron Eckhart. So
Gary Oldman.
you know what? One thing I had lost too. For some reason, I thought Joffrey was Gordon's kid. He's just a random fucking kid.
Yep, just a random
What?
kid.
Dude, I think I've seen like the screenshots and it's like on the balcony. I'm like, oh, that's where Gordon's at.
Nope.
So I assumed it was like as the movie's playing out. I'm like, this kid's not fucking tied to Gordon at all.
Yeah,
he's just a random kid.
Gordon's kid's not in it until the Dark Knights. That's when Two-Face kidnaps him. So.
Yeah, so for years I've thought that was Gordon's kid.
When I went and rewatched The Dark Knight and rewatching it with Batman Begins, I noticed something. The hand-to-hand combat, the fight scenes, they're shit. They're absolute garbage.
In the whole trilogy.
In
Yeah.
all three of, because you said it about
there's
Dark Knight
more. There's
Rises.
more and better in Begins. Some of the training and the ninja stuff. There's actually the
That's-
best choreography
that's
in
not
the
bad.
trilogy is in this movie.
It's not bad
for sure.
But I noticed with the train fight, dude, they did the Liam Neeson jumping the fence cuts.
Yeah,
Like there was one part, and I noticed it distinctly because of the Liam Neeson
the
taken
meme.
three.
Yeah,
Yeah, where
it's
he
like
jumped
23 cuts. To
23
jump a fence.
cuts to jump a fence. Is that I noticed that at one point Ray hits Batman and he's going to fall. It cut 3 times while he was falling,
Yeah,
and I'm like, see, that just shows to me that you don't have good stunt fight
Yeah.
choreography, cameraman. There's something missing there.
yeah,
And I realize now that I felt the same way because I've always felt that first fight in the Dark Knight in the garage where he's fighting Scarecrow's guys
yeah.
is clunky and awkward. He's doing this pirouetting
Yeah.
blocking move, and I'm like, I guess it could be like martial arts, but it just looks like they forgot to speed it up. Like, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes they do that where it's like the
Yeah,
fight.
they put it at 125.
Yeah,
like-
they speed it up to 125 or 1.5 just to make it look like they're going
Yeah.
super fast. You know, they're
and
not hitting.
Bruce Lee, they had to go down to 75.
They had to.
They had
for
to
him.
slow down
Yeah, they
his
had to
shit.
slow him down. Exactly. So it's just like I noticed that with this one as well. As like, man, I noticed that the fighting is it's not top notch, and it's so like
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I love the Batman with Robert Pattinson is because they had great choreography and great fights.
Or what about
in
the
that.
warehouse scene in
Or in Batman versus Superman?
Yeah,
Exactly. That's the reason why that movie has some redeeming qualities.
I think the
is that.
dock scene in this movie was done really well.
The
That
dock scene was
that-
fantastic.
like not that it's choreography, but it's the filmmaking of
but
it.
again,
like,
look
like,
at the fight. It
like the-
still cuts away from the
no,
actual
I know,
fight. So.
but it just
But
reminded.
it fit better in that scene.
Yeah, that's what it should have been.
Yeah.
And I feel like it reminded me of those missions, which are my favorite missions in both Batman and Spider-Man games, where you're like in like some sort of enclosed area, and you have the ability to take everyone out stealthily, or you could just go
it's
out and
predator rooms is what they're
yeah.
called.
And Spider-Man has the same thing. Those
Yeah.
are my favorite. I could play those 100 million fucking times, and I never get bored with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene just reminded me of what that would look like.
I don't know if you've ever looked into it, but all 3 games have predator challenges, where not only do you have to do it, but it's like one of them. Like the second game, there's the guys that have like the backpack jammers. There's like a challenge where like to get the 3 medals to complete the challenge and you know successfully like to get an an S in Ready or Not is you have to leave the backpack jammer for last, so your detective vision is scrambled the entire time.
Oh yeah.
So there's things like that. There's one where it's like use your line launcher and kick a henchman off of a ledge. So there's like different challenges you have to like line it
Yeah.
up, and
Yeah.
it's kind of Hitman-esque a little bit.
Yeah,
with
Spider-Man
that.
has that too, where like
Yeah.
you'll go into like just a crime's happening, you go there and they'll pop up a thing saying, you know, web throw 3 people. And it's
Exactly.
like, yeah.
Yeah, Batman has those like separate from the actual campaign. So
Oh,
if
okay.
you ever wanted to look into it. It's quite fun.
Yeah.
So
I especially like the one where Penguin's walking around in there too. That's always fun. Hayden says, I love how it took Joker taking off the nurse's mask for Harvey to react the way he did in the hospital.
Yeah.
It's pretty silly.
Yeah.
And again, and Aaron Eckhart, I feel is one that we've never, as a society, have given enough credit to, because he's done a lot of other good shit too.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he's kind of like a Nicholas Hoult, where it's like he keeps doing great shit and he just has not got the credit for it yet.
Right.
So yeah, go ahead.
My next question is, how did you feel about Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow?
Interesting seeing him young.
Right?
Yeah, he's just one of those
You're
ones
so
that's
used
aged
to
in
him
front
like
of our.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
and-
I will say, and I'm in the midst of finishing my Spider-Man 2 game playthrough. Whether it be Batman or whether it be Spider-Man, I am so fucking tired of these games that have to give us some stupid ass fucking hallucinogenic bullshit. Whether it's the fucking Scarecrow or whether it's fucking Mr. Negative, like I'm done with it.
Or Scorpion stabbing Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's overplayed.
It's so fucking dumb, and
Gotcha.
they do it in every one of them. It seems like there's some thing that it's like, cool, what, you all just need to get your fucking artistic kicks and do something where you can do some crazy out. I'm tired of it. But no, Cillian Murphy, it's interesting, and I think like that's some of the criticisms I had of the movie is I feel like it's just very busy, like, and it's like almost overly convoluted. To the point where it's like, okay, so you've got like corrupt cops, and then you got Scarecrow, and then all Ra's al Ghul is behind all like.
Then you also have the mob.
Then there's the mob that it's like I feel like you could have just cut some of it out, and not that I didn't love like Cillian Murphy like and his performance and stuff, but I feel like there's just like, especially after what we came out of with the last sets of Batmans, where it got to the point where it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? And it's like to start it that way, whereas like, you know, and it's not to say you can't do multiple things, because there's been other ones like the Batman, the Dark Knight even has multiple things going on, but it's like I just feel like this one handled it clunkier. This one is like, if you had a paradigm of like handling it perfectly on one side to Batman and Robin on the other, this is a little bit closer to the Batman and Robin side.
Gotcha.
Not all the way, but like if there's the halfway mark, it's on the this side, that
Just a little bit on the other side.
just the inside smidge of it towards the Batman and Robin, because it just felt to me where I'm like, could they not have just chopped a layer out of this to just simplify it a little bit? And I just feel like it would have been a stronger movie.
I mean, honestly, when you look at it, why was Scarecrow there at all?
Yeah.
Like that's legit a good question. Is like, if you're having him start, because think about it.
Except that you need the toxin to like to make it the destruction that it would, like the final
The fear
stretch
toxin,
where it's
I
like,
guess, yeah.
like you need that, because you couldn't just like vaporize all the water in Gotham. And I guess that could be like a disaster.
Here's how I would write it. Right? Okay. I would think that Ra's al Ghul is smart enough to come up with the toxin on his own, not needing Scarecrow to do it.
Yeah.
I think that the League of Assassins is smart enough to do it. And then you have Scarecrow get that technology from the League of Assassins. He's at Arkham, and he's like, oh, I could use this.
Yeah.
And I just got fucked over because my entire career just got flushed down the toilet, because every single person that I said was being rehabilitated just went out into the street and murdered 38 people.
Yeah.
So you have him as a ruined doctor becoming Scarecrow, which is more accurate to the character in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And you have that versus having him in Batman Begins, or novel concept, save him for the third movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
Because imagine Batman physically at the end of his ropes, getting fear toxined and then having to fight Bane.
Yeah.
Instead of Talia al Ghul and the League of Assassins coming back.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had Scarecrow and Bane teaming up, and it's a true partnership, not a Bane's his little bitch.
Yeah.
Which is what you were saying earlier, is that they said, oh, we didn't like how Bane was someone's sidekick.
Bane's not been done properly in live
hasn't.
action yet.
He
Like
hasn't.
it's like, because I kind of understand, at least just from like the games and like what little exposure I have to like the animated series, I kind of know what Bane can be, and I think Bane is like a legit fucking villain, and he's been mishandled twice now. Like
the only game that's done the game that did him the most justice is Arkham Origins, which is the different studio that did it.
Yeah.
He's great in Arkham Asylum because you boss fight with Bane.
Yeah.
But in Arkham Origins, they do like a whole on like horror level with him.
Yeah.
Like you're crawling through the grates, he'll fucking rip the grates up and like looking for you.
Yeah.
It's like a horror.
Kind of like the Rhino mission for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're not even Spider-Man. You're fucking Miles Morales. He hasn't got bit yet. So Hayden says Dave Bautista would be great. I was thinking the fucking guy that played Reacher. Like, get some big,
Alan Rickman.
some big motherfucker. Because, like, I mean, Tom Hardy, what is he, like 5'10"?
Something like that.
If that.
Yeah.
And he's not a big dude, so it's like, he's Bane.
And he didn't even have Venom. So he didn't even, like, bulk up. They kept it grounded and everything.
Yeah.
You're telling me that we have fear toxin, but we couldn't have Venom.
Yeah. Yeah, I
come on.
Yeah, I know we keep diverting to the other films here, but
they're all connected.
It's all
It's
connected
fine.
for sure. I also will say one thing I noticed, having now I'm way more familiar with Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
He loves to play with time.
Yes.
Like I think of like Dunkirk.
Oh, Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
Yeah.
I mean, and he plays with time in a lot of fucking movies, but he loves to go non-linear. I mean, of course, fucking Memento, right? But like he does it in this. That whole first half of the movie is jumping all over the place in the timeline. You're jumping back to like him
Flashback
overseas, and then you go back to like the early and they're just bouncing all over. I mean, the fucking the Wayne's getting killed is like not even the very beginning of the movie.
It's like 80 minutes into, like 70 minutes into the movie. Like it's,
it's just probably not that far, but yeah, it's
feels like it.
Yeah, but it's like it's just wild, and it's like because again now having been more familiar with him, I mean even Oppenheimer, like he loves to play with like don't just take shit for granted. Like what can I do to fuck with time and fuck with whatever to trick people, not in like a weird M. Night Shyamalan like ooh I got you way, but more of a way of like oh you think one thing, but you didn't realize that I'm actually doing the time like I think Dunkirk's one of the best examples.
Yeah.
But he does that. He's playing with time in this, and it's like interesting because this is very early Nolan, right? This is the one that really put him on the map.
Yeah.
Not to say he wasn't already like there was already film dudes that were already into him because of Memento and stuff, but it's like this put him on the map. Like the reason that he is where he's at now, where he's a brand, like Nolan's name's on a film, people are gonna go see it because his fucking name's on it. They don't care what the title of the film is
or what it's
like,
about.
Like nobody, like most of your audience is like, I don't know what the Odyssey is, but Christopher Nolan's name's on it. I'm going to see it next year.
Exactly.
So like, and that starts here with this movie, right? So it's just kind of cool to see some of those like DNA elements that we're going to see later through the rest of his career kind of in this movie already.
Absolutely.
So,
and I do have to say before, just in case if Hayden has to bow out, I do want to point out Thomas Wayne deserved to die, according to Hayden, because he built a monorail.
I mean,
so
yeah, Hayden doesn't like monorails.
Hayden hates monorails. So he not only built a monorail, he built a double-decker where it goes back and forth on top of each other. So it's a monorail inception almost. Yeah, a little bit. A double.
It's like an English monorail.
It's an English monorail
like
in
those
America.
buses that are top and bottom.
Unforgivable.
I want those buses in America though. Those are cool.
Double-deckers?
Double-decker buses.
Oh, they're cool.
Those are
they're
great.
absolutely cool.
I love them.
It's
probably like you always hear about the foreigners that come to America and they're like flip out about the yellow school buses and we're just like, wait, what? I'd probably be the same way if I was in England. I saw one of those double-deckers.
Like, hey!
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm going the other direction, but I'm getting on that bus right now. I don't care. So
so the last two that I had a question about, like their performances, like how'd you feel about Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul with the twist, and then obviously we have to talk about Michael Caine as Alfred.
I mean, I remember the twist that he's Ra's al Ghul, but I think that's one of those things too where I'm like, could you not have simplified it? Why the deception? What did that really pay off? I guess, except for that moment.
He could have just come back from the dead, kind of thing.
Yeah, like that could have been enough of a shock where it's like it's him, but you think you put this enemy down, and that I feel like that fits more into what that character's about as well. More so
Lazarus Pit.
Then it's like, and I know that Nolan is probably wanting to be a little bit more grounded, but it's just like I don't know. I mean,
honestly, the best part about it is that you leave him for dead, right? He's dead. And then he comes back, and so all the hardcore fans like me would be like, "Oh, Lazarus Pit, Lazarus Pit."
Yeah. So I really enjoyed. I enjoyed his role a lot more. I will say that was my slight complaint of like, why do we have to play this whole like fake guy that I don't know. It's just that was my least favorite part of it. But like, Liam Neeson, he's a legend.
It's Liam Neeson,
yeah,
right?
he's great. And I thought he did a good job too. I think I enjoyed it. I enjoyed him.
And then Michael Caine is Alfred.
Not my favorite Alfred overall. I mean, of course, I grew up on the whatever Gould from the original 4 movies. I don't know. I guess I'm. He's not my least favorite. That's definitely Andy Serkis. I don't know. Andy Serkis is Andy Serkis to me, and he doesn't really blend into anything, and he doesn't work for Alfred for me at all.
Gotcha.
Michael Caine is better for sure, but I loved Jeremy Irons like I don't know why, but he might be one of my favorites.
The Batman versus Superman.
There
one,
was
right?
just some
Yeah.
element of him being it that was just like, that's fucking cool. Like he just
Yeah.
he feels like he balances that I was a fucking badass, you know, SAS or whatever the fuck it is. But now I'm like I feel like he fit that perfectly. And I feel like most of the others, like I have a hard time seeing both sides. I have a hard time seeing like he's now your butler versus he was a fucking SAS that killed like 75 fucking people in World War II,
like
whatever
Michael
it is,
Caine,
right?
Michael Caine tells the story in the Dark Knight about the
gems.
the gems and stuff like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
you were out hunting someone.
Yeah, it's like
Were you using like bows and arrows back in the day? Like did you use like
gunpowder
like,
didn't-
like
gunpowder
like,
didn't exist yet.
muskets? Like
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Yeah, but I mean, Michael Caine's a great actor for sure. But I guess I'm just looking at, so he's not bad. It's just how I would rank them, I guess. Like
okay.
the original ones are just, of course, I'm not saying that like what I don't remember his name. Gould though is the last name for the original
Yeah.
Alfred. Of course, he doesn't come off like, I mean, he would be fighting in what, the Spanish-American War, if, like with his age.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So I'm not saying that he could play off like whatever, but I think Jeremy Irons, and I love Jeremy Irons too. He's one of my favorite like 80s, 90s dudes, and I feel like he just doesn't get the same kind of love as some other people.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't get the same love as like Alan Rickman, but like I think he should deserve all the same love that Alan Rickman has got over the years.
Yeah. Michael Caine was 72 in 2005. So you're putting him back in his, 20s, 30s when he's fighting
Yeah.
for the SAS?
And-
so you're looking at World War II era.
Yeah, and I think
Almost.
I think I do love him more in terms of like I do, because I think what my least favorite is probably Andy Serkis, and I think part of it is the age too. He just isn't old enough to be Alfred in any way,
Right.
and it's like, and also there's nothing I look at Andy Serkis and I go, oh yeah, that's guy that was in the SAS.
Right.
At any point, he doesn't have that vibe about him, and I think Jeremy Irons is able to pull off that perfect like, okay, I'm old enough now, I've got the gray hair, I could see that he's like settled down and decided to like be a butler to this family, but you could also look in his eyes and see like there's an element where it's like, oh yeah, this is
it's the question. Here's the question for you. This is what's gonna. Do they pass the Alfred shotgun test? There's that famous panel
Yeah.
from one of the things. While my master doesn't hold with killing, I, however, do not. And he's loading a fucking double barrel shotgun.
yeah,
I can't see Andy Serkis and Michael Caine doing that scene.
correct.
I can see Jeremy Irons doing that scene.
Yeah.
With a fucking bayonet in his teeth and a
Yes.
grenade in his other hand.
100%. And I think that's the for me. I guess if you see, it's kind of like you see, there's Bruce Wayne, there's Batman, right? I think with Alfred, there's like the badass, there's metal under
Yeah.
that, and then there's the like the fatherly figure.
There's-
And Michael
yeah.
Caine is probably the best fatherly figure. We'll get there eventually. Alfred.
There you go.
He's probably the best in that realm, like in terms of playing that fatherly. You know, he's going to lecture you. He's going to tell you you're failing. He's going to tell you you're being a piece of shit. He's going to tell you like you're ruining your father's name. Like all of that stuff. He's perfect for that. And I don't think anyone else can beat him at that.
Yeah.
But I guess he just misses. It's kind of like Val Kilmer is a wonderful fucking Batman.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't a good Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And it's just like, and that's where it falls short. And I think that like Jeremy Irons is probably that perfect like Venn diagram where it's like it covers
Yeah.
everything that I need to see from Alfred. And I think Michael Caine, he just misses the like the more badass side, like because I don't know, like even if you look at like younger movies of Michael Caine, it's like, does he ever look like a badass?
No.
Because like there's part of me like one I always talk about, because I'm not a big fan of Sebastian Shaw in Return of the Jedi, the unmasked Vader. I'm not a fan of him as the Force Ghost. I never was, even as a kid before the prequels. He does not look like a badass. He doesn't look like someone that could have been a warrior. He looks like a farmer.
He does.
Alec Guinness, there's something about him, even as an old man, you look at him and you're like, when he was younger,
He fucks shit
you
up.
could tell he was a bad motherfucker. And Sebastian Shaw just never had that, so I've never even when, in the '90s before the prequels.
So when they put
never liked
Hayden,
that.
when they put Hayden in,
I fucking adored it. It was
Yeah.
perfect. Now they should have done the whole costume. I don't like just photoshopping the head in because Anakin in those robes just doesn't look right. It's
no,
unnatural.
it needs to be like the black leather.
Yeah, exactly. Give me the Revenge of the Sith Anakin there full on. That'd be perfect for me. But in that sense, like I guess Michael Caine, I even when I go back and watch an old 1970s like Michael Caine movie, he never comes off as a badass. So he falls short in that realm, but he's still a great Alfred because ultimately the role that Nolan needs him for in this trilogy is to be that fatherly,
Yes.
Whatever. So I think in that realm he does go great. He's wonderful for sure.
Hayden says Andy Serkis being Alfred sort of fits though because of how young comparatively Pattinson's Bruce is in those films, and that's 100% right. Is that it's a younger Alfred versus like the older gray that comes 5-10 years of being Batman's butler.
Yeah,
you know?
no, for sure. And I will say I was really down on the Michael or Andy Serkis casting. He did actually do way better than I thought he would, and I didn't end up hating it as much as I thought. But
Yeah.
I'm just Andy Serkis gave one of the greatest performances of all time in Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
I'm never gonna nobody can take that away from him. But I do feel like outside of that, he's just largely Andy Serkis in everything he does, and that's just where I'm just like, like when he's Claw in Marvel, and like whatever, he just always feels like the same guy, and it's just like, cool, that's your thing, but like, yeah,
A little bit more.
yeah, it's
I
like
need just a little bit more.
yeah,
I think he did really good. I think with the Batman with Andy Serkis, the scene that really did it for me was when he's in the hospital talking about Thomas
yeah,
Wayne and everything like that.
yeah.
When we got to that scene,
Correct. I think that's where he won
I'm
me
like,
over.
I'm like,
for
that's
sure.
where he's going to be a really good Alfred, especially with like the future films.
And he has the
I
care
think
there.
He is.
Yes, he does
the
have the care and
the love of Bruce. There.
yeah, I do see that for sure. But I do, yeah. So I do love Michael. I mean, Michael Caine's a fucking legend too.
Right.
And I do think that even when we fast forward the rest of the way through this trilogy, I don't think there's ever a point that Michael Caine was. I think the only time that I ever like side eye or side dog head tilt a little bit is in this one with the fire when he's going in to help Bruce. I'm like, I don't know if Michael
Yeah,
Caine really fits.
yeah,
that.
like
it's. I mean, the line's great. Do all those bloody push-ups and you can't get a stump off you. Like
Yeah.
that probably makes it worth it. But it's like there's just part of me where he's like running through the fire. I'm like, that's not it, man. That's just not. I don't know. But no, he is great though. And I'm sure he's some people's favorite Alfred
It's
too.
a lot of people's favorite Alfred. He's
Yeah.
like he's so perfect with like the accent. I'm Michael Caine
Yeah.
and everything.
I love there's like a teasing nature to the Jeremy Irons version.
Yeah.
Like he was just like he was a catty bitch.
He had a little bit of sarcasm to him. That's for damn
Yeah,
sure.
and I love that. I feel like I've seen that in in him across the way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like there's the panel where it's like draw me a bath, and he actually draws a fucking picture of a bath and gives it to him, or
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's
no. Alfred is one.
Who's your favorite Alfred?
My favorite Alfred? I
Live action.
live action. So I got to go with the OG, the one in the first four. I think he fits. Let's be perfectly honest. He looks exactly like fucking Alfred.
He
from
looks like it.
The goddamn comics and cartoons.
Yeah,
so.
he has the catty nature too. Like
And he does have
when he
the-
spits the soup, it's cold. It's supposed to be cold, sir.
It's supposed to be. Yeah, exactly. So it's just like,
Yeah.
he's sarcastic
And he's our childhood.
sassy. That's the word I've
Sassy,
been looking
yeah.
for. He's so sassy.
Yeah, when I
and
said
everything.
catty, I think I meant sassy. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and everything.
that's what we grew up. I mean, that's Alfred. Like I saw
Yeah.
that before I ever even saw the animated. So it's like that is my introduction to him for
Yeah.
sure. And again, I know I'm being unfair because I never really applied like the badass because I didn't learn that about Alfred till much later in life. So I never really applied that to him. But it's kind of that
Absolutely.
that throwback.
And they nail that in the Arkham games too, because there's like the one where like he's like, I need to get into the ironworks. He's like, did you try the front door, sir? And
Yeah.
it's just like, you son of a bitch,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Irons had a couple lines like that.
yeah,
That's where I was
it's
just like,
yeah,
yeah.
I need to get inside this building. Have you tried knocking or some shit like that? It's just
Yeah.
like it's so class, it's
Yeah.
so great.
Yeah.
My next question is that it's actually interesting. I completely forgot about this. In Batman Begins, they make it Bruce's fault that his parents
Yeah.
are in the alley. He gets the panic attack because of the bats.
Now,
That's different than 1989, and obviously in the Batman, we don't exactly get like a whole
we don't. Yeah.
everything. Thank God.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, if I never see another fucking pearl necklace break,
I didn't
will
hold
die
it. I didn't
happy
hold it
man.
against this on the rewatch because I'm
No.
like, when this was made,
Yeah.
there was like 5 less of these scenes.
What
so.
what pisses me off the most is why is the necklace always getting broken? Don't they want it whole in order to fucking sell it? Like the robbers grabbing a necklace and ripping it off and having the pearls go fucking everywhere does absolutely nothing for them.
Yeah.
They end up with like 2 pearls in their hand and the
Yeah.
rest are scattered across the alley and they just gun them down. Well, I can't stop and pick them all up.
Yeah.
It does fucking just
Yeah. Now I will say again, sorry, I keep going back to Jeremy Irons.
Oh yeah.
But I expected him to show up on screen and go, "What have you done?
What have you done?
You must leave and never return."
Murderer.
Dude, wouldn't it?
Right.
It would have worked for the film too, because he then just goes and fucks off for
Yeah,
almost 10
he
years.
does.
So-
But no, I just thought it was interesting. Like, did you notice that they made it?
Oh,
Bruce's
100%.
fault?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think I've actually applied that across the board. I think in general, if you would ask me, I would just say that's part of the story. that you're saying that this is fairly unique, but like in my mind, like it's Bruce's fault. Like not that I'm not saying it's actually his fault, but like this is how I would envision it, because like
there's the guilt there for Bruce. Then.
Yeah, the guilt
adds that extra guilt.
I think it works best with that because again, yeah, I think like it's the origin story, right? You need that guilt element, and like think of like Spider-Man, it's the same way, right? It's because you let that criminal go type thing.
With
so
Uncle
you
Ben, yeah.
need that layer to it, because if it's just parents die and I watched it, is that really enough to force you to go and be Batman?
I think it comes down to the original.
And I'm not shit talking other
Sure,
versions that
sure.
haven't done that, but it's just like, to me, that added layer is like
a little extra on top.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that with that version, with how Batman Begins does it, is it becomes more personal because it's more my fault.
yeah.
Whereas,
And then it's my
the
responsibility, right?
right.
Like my responsibility to stop this from happening again, because it was my fault, even if he's being unfair.
If you do it without it being Bruce's fault, you have more of what the Batman is driving for, is that I'm out for vengeance on every fucking criminal.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't stop that one.
Yeah.
It's not my fault, but it's their fault. And so that's where the vengeance comes from, and that's where it's the anger that Bruce has in the early years and everything like that. So
Yeah.
one of the big things that I wanted to bring up is that I thought when I originally watched this that the bat scene where he like is trying to rescue Rachel with Gordon, I thought that was the stupidest fucking thing ever. With like the sonar and the bats come swirling and scaring everyone, and I'm like, this is so dumb. This is so cheesy. I come to find out, yeah, it's straight out of the comics. Like,
Yeah.
Nolan took that almost page for page out of the comics. He's fighting SWAT in an abandoned building in Batman Year One, and literally he's down to, like, when he dives, there's an explosion. They drop a bomb in an abandoned building that he's in. And he survives by hiding in, like, a basement sewer or something like that. And then the SWAT has the entire building surrounded, and they start moving in. He's like, well, my utility belt got fried. So I have a blow dart with 3 tranquilizer darts, a blow gun with 3 tranquilizer darts, 4 batarangs, and then, like, that's it. And then my wits, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, to see him use that sonar as, like, the last ditch to get out of that SWAT situation, and then here to see it again, I'm like, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong. That scene's cool. That's
Yeah.
dope as shit. I still hate the fucking Tumblr.
I loved oh god, it's the worst Batmobile objectively. There's just not objectively. It's subjective, of course, but there's no worse Batmobile on live action.
It's
There
so
is not.
dumb.
It's just not. It's not good.
It's not
It's
good at
not
all.
good. And it works for like what they needed, especially for this story, right? Because like the bridge jumping, like I get it, I guess, but like yeah, it is. There is no worse Batmobile. I mean, I'll take the fucking Adam West convertible.
Yeah. That one's so impractical too because he gets shot at. So it's like, no,
Yeah.
put a roof on it.
Yeah.
Make it bulletproof.
Yeah.
Hayden says, my favorite part about all of these conversations is that it's missing the most useless, boring character in all of Gotham, Dick Grayson. God, his hatred of Robin will never be surpassed, I swear.
And let's not even talk about Robin and how shitty that was in that third
That was
movie
dumb.
too. That was the dumbest shit I've ever fucking seen.
dumb.
I just like, again, I was just like, did they swap directors? Like, they say this is Christopher Nolan, but is this really? Because like, but it's like Sam Raimi though.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the third one's like, what the fuck happened?
You tripped at the finish line, my guy. Like, what happened?
It's not that hard to make a trilogy. Go
Yeah.
talk to Lucas.
Yeah, he
Come
did it
on,
twice.
Spielberg. I mean,
Yeah.
there's trilogies can be done. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes the third movie's the best in the fucking bunch. What are you guys doing here?
Indiana Jones.
So,
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith, Return of the King. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of people are turning on that now and saying that Fellowship
really?
is everyone's favorite now. All of a sudden, there's
Oh,
been a big
really?
resurgence that Fellowship is the best of the 3 movies. So,
That's interesting.
yeah,
I mean,
I will.
You like Fellowship, don't you?
Yeah, I have no qualms with it, but it's like better than Return of the King. Like, what are we talking about here?
I mean, the nice thing about Fellowship of the Ring is it doesn't have 18 false endings. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. I will also say the fear toxin, Batman, ghoul,
Oh, where he's holding Scarecrow
horror element. That was
with like the black ooze
just
coming out of his
just
mouth.
bad. Yeah, he had the penguin goo
Yeah.
coming out.
Yep.
That was like straight horror. That was
straight up horror.
That was great stuff for sure.
Which is how the fear toxin should work. So
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I did appreciate that quite a bit. I did like the whole he was going to shoot the criminal thing. I love that element of it.
Oh, the Joe Chill. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. I loved that fucking terrible actor slapping him for it too. As much as I don't like her,
yeah.
but I did appreciate that whole scene too. Like your father be ashamed of you and all that stuff. Because like I feel like all that works perfectly.
It's true.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and I thought that all worked well. I just wish it was Donnie Darko's sister.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
She
saying.
was much better as Rachel.
Yeah, I
for
liked
sure.
her a lot better.
So you liked the focus on fear as a theme throughout and everything?
Yeah. Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. Now putting
Yeah.
the criminal up on the light and having looking like bat signal is pretty dumb too.
Oh, the mafia guy.
There's
Yeah.
no way that makes that shape.
No.
You should, like even if you like squinted and you had like shitty vision, like that's not
That's not what it
that's
does.
not it. Yeah.
No.
It's almost as dumb as how does Bruce Wayne get all the way back to Gotham when he has no money because they stole all of his money and he's on the other side of the planet. And
Yeah.
sorry, we're not going to shit on the third one all day,
Right.
but
right.
it's just there's a couple decisions where it's like,
Huh?
what's going on here? Lucius.
Lucius Fox.
Yeah,
That is one we
oh,
definitely
the fucking the CEO or whoever, the guy that's in charge
Yeah.
through most of the movie, he is on Jason Isaacs' level of just punchable, fucking hateable faces.
I just want to hit him.
He-
I don't want to punch him in the face. I want to punch him in the throat.
Yeah,
He is a throat punch.
or a heart punch.
Ooh, just
Yeah, just right in the heart.
Yep.
And
hopefully it stops.
I'm saying that to all his credit as an actor, but he's just got a face that's like I feel like half your job's done just by your face.
Right.
But
like Joffrey.
yeah,
He's just got that smug
yeah.
look on his
Even
face.
even in this movie, I want to
does.
punch him like a little kid. Just,
Well, you just don't like kids. That's all it is.
well, kids are evil.
Yeah.
I've seen The Omen. I've seen Children of the Corn.
Which one?
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I loved Lucius. I mean, Morgan Freeman.
Right.
He's great. And then did we get a scene with Michael Caine and him? Do they have a
Yeah.
scene together?
Yeah, it's when they rescue Batman.
Oh,
from
that's
the
right.
fear
Because
toxin.
yeah.
That's when he brings him in to being
Yeah.
Batman's tech guy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Which is cool seeing those two together.
Yeah.
That's two legendary actors for sure. Yeah. So I love Lucius. I don't know what other topics you have. I'm just grabbing a couple things off the top of my head that I wanted to point out that I.
No, go ahead. I got about 3 more here to go over.
Okay.
So if you have anything that you want to add, feel free. Do it now.
I will say the whole like beginning training thing is pretty well done. I feel like all that was really well done, like the abroad
Yeah.
type stuff, especially because I don't think we've ever seen that in live action before or since. Right? That's always just kind of assumed.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, and it
How
honestly,
how does Robert Pattinson get his training?
yeah, or
We
any
don't
of
know.
them. Yeah, it's
We
just
don't
like
know.
how,
Michael Keaton. We don't know.
yeah, we don't know, and I mean,
Yep.
I'm sure is it part of the original Origins or is that something that came later?
I think it's. Whew. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I assume it came later, and that's how they introduced the League of Assassins and Ra's al Ghul and all of them.
Yeah,
I do know that Batman Year One, the comic, has him coming back to Gotham. Like the flight back is where it starts for him.
yeah,
You don't see any of the training actually, but it's like I've honed my body for 10 years. I am a perfect weapon, but I need something more. And so it's like the whole like coming up with the visage of Batman
yeah.
is the Ra's al Ghul gets credit for it in this one. In Batman Year One, it's the famous scene where he went out his first time, he got shot by a cop because he's like the cop's like freeze, and Bruce freezes, and then he's like bang and just shoots him right in the side.
Yeah.
And then the partner's like he didn't even move, and he's like, oh well.
Yeah.
Throw him in the back of the squad car. He causes him to crash. He gets out. He gets home. And he's like, if I ring the bell, Alfred's going to come and save my life. Otherwise, I'm going to stay here and bleed to death. And that's it. So, Father, give me a sign. And a bat flies through the window. And he's like,
Yeah.
of course. I'll turn my fear into their fear. And that's how he comes up. He
Yeah.
comes up with it. It's a sign from his dad.
Yeah.
And this one, it's more Ra's al Ghul is like,
About like
what are you
deception,
afraid?
theatrics.
What are
and
you
stuff.
afraid of? What they're afraid of deception and theatrics, even like with like the ninja dust and everything that he
Yeah.
does. You know, like
Ninja vanish.
It's also something from Letterkenny that my wife would appreciate. Ninja dust.
Well, Ninja Vanish is
Yes,
Teenage Mutant Ninja
Turtles.
Turtles.
Absolutely, I understood the assignment, but I kind of like that where it's like you do get to see the training and you get to see how because even like the prison, he beat up 6 guys by himself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so he can handle himself, and then he goes and gets trained by the League of Assassins, the greatest fighting force on the planet. You know.
Yeah.
Per se, you know.
Yeah.
They can topple governments and stuff like that is what they claim and everything.
Yeah,
in the comics they do.
I love the whole line about like we sacked Rome or we burned Rome, and you know, like we like his whole speech about all the different things. I'm a fucking sucker for that shit as a history fan. It's kind of like in the Mike Flanagan Dr. Sleep. It's like, you know, he saw empires fall, you know, all that kind of stuff when not Grandpa Flick, right? The ghouls in Dr. Sleep, when the one is dying.
Yeah, Grandpa Flick.
Is it Grandpa Flick?
Yeah.
I don't know why that sounds wrong to me. But when he's dying and she gives that whole thing, and like when we reread it for our Dark Tower podcast for one of our Patreon things, it actually shocked me that wasn't in the book. Like, so that was a Flanagan edition, but I just love it because there's just an element of that where it's like, because like, I don't know, we're all so small. We're all just specks of dust in this whole thing. So it's like to think about like the Roman Empire is just like, that is like, that's a different fucking planet.
Yeah.
So it's like if there were a creature or an organization that like it was alive back then, like that's an unreal nature of like it adds like weight into like
there's
some
like
stuff.
the thing with like is it Dracula with Bram Stoker's Dracula where it's like I was there when Rome fell or something, like one of those characters just like, oh shit, you know, like just adds that gravitas to them, you know, and everything.
So I did appreciate that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they've existed that long and
Yeah,
everything.
it's just cool. It adds a weight to them. It does. There is part of me that's like, with that in mind, though, I feel like they were severely underutilized.
Yeah.
Like this whole harebrained scheme in this, and it's like then they don't like just get rid of Bane in that. Just make the entire fucking thing the League of Assassins in the third movie. Like I feel like with all the weight you put into them in this movie, it never really pays off to the point where it's like to the level that you built them. Like you overbuilt them to the point where it's like, oh, so it's just like a microwave fear toxin that's
you're
it?
gonna watch Gotham tear itself apart.
Yeah, like I don't know how much better than was it like if that third movie, everything that Bane did. What if that's League of Assassins? It's just destroying fucking Gotham, cutting it off from the outside world.
I mean, he's technically League of Assassins, but I mean, like, make it actual League of Assassins. Make it Talia being the one that's doing it. I know you got the whole deception thing, but again, do you need the deception?
Yeah.
Have a bad guy that just comes and punch Batman in the mouth, you know, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah. And I will say, earlier I was talking shit on Christian Bale a bit. Again, I love Christian Bale as an actor, and I do think he had a lot of great moments in this, you know, acting wise.
I love absolutely one choice that they did. I don't know if it was Nolan or Bale that came up with it, but when he rescues Rachel on the station, the monorail station, got to mention again.
The mechanical serpent.
There was a mechanical serpent in the movie. She gets off the monorail. She goes down, and he rescues her from those 2 guys.
Yeah.
Well, the one guy, he beats up the one guy, and the other guy runs away. Yeah. Instead of just standing there, he's up on the railing. That's such a fucking Batman thing to do. That is so Batman-esque, is to be like, he might as well have been hanging upside fucking down, looking at her like a goddamn bat.
Have you seen that panel where Superman is taking over for Batman for a bit? And like he's there with Robin, and like they end up up there with Gordon.
Yes.
And he's like, he turns around like, "Oh, you're still here." He's like, "Of course."
Why wouldn't you? You're still talking.
You're still talking.
What said that to me?
What if I miss critical information? And Robin's just like, "What the fuck?" Dude?
Like, we gotta go, man. Like,
it's so funny. I love it. And Robin's involved, so you can't go wrong there, right?
No, Robin's the best. I love Robin. So now with a rewatch, how do you feel about Nolan's darker, grittier tone?
I loathe monorails. So shifty.
So shifty. Robin on a monorail. That's Hayden's nightmare right there. That's the worst thing ever. Robin riding a monorail for 2 hours.
Riding a bear inside of a monorail.
Robin with a pet bear on a monorail. While playing with a Ouija board. That's a movie I would go see.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about Nolan's darker, more grounded tone now that you?
And the other thing too is as I was being kind of like unfair to that whole like refresh that was happening across the fucking board. It felt like it was just so unoriginal back then. I do think obviously Batman is the one that it makes the most sense.
Right.
So like I appreciate it. Again, like I would probably say that at this point I do appreciate the two films. I don't think this one's near as good as The Dark Knight for me. But I
Right.
think The Dark Knight's a tour de force with again, Gary Oldman has a much bigger role. Aaron Eckhart's doing incredible things. Heath Ledger. Like, I just feel like there's so much going on with that. And then I don't know. I love Heat. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. So like the Heat tributes are just wonderful. And everything that's going on there. This one will struggle to keep up with that. But I do think that, I've been too harsh on the film for sure.
I'm glad to hear that. I really that's the whole purpose of why I wanted to do this.
No, Hayden's just laughing about us telling you to fuck off, making sure you're not sad or something.
No. I just know that he has a personalized video that he's probably sending me in our group text.
Is there a video, or I'm sorry, not a video, a movie made animated wise of the Crowbar?
Yes.
If so, we should have Hayden watch that.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic film. It's called Under the Red Hood. Batman Under the Red Hood. That is actually one of the better non-Mark Hamill Joker movies.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. That's got Troy. Is it Troy Baker?
Troy Baker, the one that just did Spot on Indiana Jones for the video game series.
Yeah.
He's a legend voice actor.
No,
for sure.
Joe DiMaggio plays Joker. That's who it is.
Joe DiMaggio. He's back
Yeah.
from the dead.
Sorry, John DiMaggio. I apologize.
It's like
I read that. J-O, and I just assumed the rest. So
I was about to say Joe.
no, he is a legendary voice actor. I think he's in. Is he fucking Bender in?
Oh
Uh,
yeah, the Futurama.
Futurama. Thank you.
Yeah.
Futurama. Yeah, he's Bender. So that's who voices Joker in that one, and that is it starts off the movie. That's the movie starts off with crowbars.
So Hayden, you should watch that on HBO Max.
Is it? Oh God, is it available?
It should be. It's HBO Max.
Dude, they started taking Batman animated movies off.
Didn't we figure out though they're rotating them?
Yeah,
Like they're having certain ones available at certain times or whatever. So,
it is not available on Max right now.
Gary Oldman. We haven't talked enough about Gary Oldman.
I had one of my last questions here, just for
Hayden,
fun.
I'm dying imagining Joker saying "bite my shiny metal ass." Well, it's better than Joker saying "I am your father,"
it's true.
because wouldn't he just do that? He's like, what happened to him? He's now just flipping on its head. Now he's gonna that's "I am your father."
If I ever get Joker again, the story that I want is where he's going after the little scuzz bucket who finds out who Batman is.
Oh yeah,
There's that episode of Batman the Animated Series where just this accountant figures out who Batman's secret identity. Like
Yeah.
Batman falls off of a roof in front of him, and he's just like, "Oh my God, it's Bruce Wayne!" And Joker finds out, and he's like, "This motherfucker's gonna ruin it all. I'm gonna kill him."
it's not
And so-
just him. All of them go.
Yeah,
after
they
him.
all go after him.
Yeah.
Like they don't want Batman's identity revealed.
Yeah, I think Joker, it's because of he's just psychotic and he likes the fun of it. Because there's been other versions where it's been revealed. He's like, oh, you've just ruined it. The
Yeah.
entire fun is gone. But the others are like, right now there's a balance.
There's a line that he won't cross. If you reveal his secret identity,
He has nothing
He
to-
might have nothing to lose, and he might.
It's
cross
the
that line.
Homelander thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, cool, go ahead and do it.
And they know
Then-
what.
then I'll have
and
nothing
they
to
know
lose.
what would happen if Batman uncuffed himself.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
But yeah, we haven't talked enough about Gary Oldman. Seeing him in a uniform was very interesting.
Yeah,
Very,
it's the start.
very unnatural.
He's not even a detective in this one.
Because even in other movies, when he plays a law enforcement officer like Leon, where he's a lovable and respectable DEA agent, he's never in uniform. Like, do we ever see Gary in like a uniform like that? Like, we've seen military, Air Force One and shit, but like,
I mean, he wasn't even in a military uniform in that. He was just wearing civvies because he was undercover as a reporter.
that's true. Yeah.
So-
but he's played some like Eastern Bloc villains in the past where it's like a military, but like, you don't see him in like a police uniform like that very often. So it threw me off. As not to mention, of course, I'm way more familiar with the Dark Knight and stuff where
Yeah.
he's already, even halfway through this movie, he's suit and tie. So, yeah. Of course, you got.
I had a question for you. How much did you like the scene with him driving the tumbler trying to shoot shit and everything.
Yeah, I
it
think
was just like it was so good. It was so fun.
Yeah, I think I had forgotten he's actually probably almost a bigger role in this than, well, probably not, because he had a pretty big role in The Dark Knight too.
Yeah.
I think Nolan knew, like, oh, I've got one of the greatest actors of all time. I'm not
gotta use it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking sideline.
But you
him,
get the
so.
whole like comforting young Bruce and everything like that.
Yeah,
putting his dad's jacket on him, and even like Commissioner Loeb is like, get the fuck out of here.
yeah, no, yeah. Gary's great. Imagine what villain Gary could play in Batman. Imagine him as Ra's al Ghul.
I think he would make the absolute fucking pinnacle best of Mr. Freeze. I think the sympathetic villain where he's just trying to save his god.
Who's the faceless one that can change faces and stuff? Is that Hush?
Hush.
Because he's already the faceless man anyway.
He already is.
So,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That's why they ended up casting him in Hannibal. Because they're like, oh, everyone already calls him like the actor with no face, so let's get him in a role where he doesn't have a face.
Exactly.
And he's like, fuckers, I'm in.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah.
Hayden says Gary has a sort of suit in Book of Eli. That is true. That's a movie I have not watched for a long time. I should watch that with my
I actually
wife.
still throw that score on probably once a month or so. It's great fucking soundtrack.
That's a nice segue into my next question. How'd you feel about the score of Batman Begins?
I mean, I'm missing the Adam West. Batman. No, I mean, the score is incredible. It's Hans Zimmer, right?
If I remember right, it is.
Yeah, it just feels like Hans Zimmer. And of course, Nolan uses Hans Zimmer a lot, so I'm not like, this.
Hans Zimmer.
Okay.
David Julian and James Newton Howard are also credited for some reason on this.
Okay.
So
interesting. Yeah, I love the score. I mean, the theme for it is great. The Batman theme for this trilogy is great.
Dun.
Yeah. There's a couple of like iconic lines in this too, more than I would have thought. Like when they were coming up, I'm like, oh, I remember this line. Like, and I remember like the tone of voice. I remember the cadence. Like, who's here? The Batman.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple lines there. The final line, of course, is like a meme at this point.
It is. I never said thank you, and you'll never have to. I mean,
and I feel like his voice is not as bad in this as it is in the next movie.
No, it does get
Like
gravelier.
it gets worse.
It does get gravelier. It's like he decided to go out and become one with a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
So
yeah, indeed. It's like a Clint Eastwood and a grizzly bear had a baby, and that baby smoked 3 packs a day for 25 years.
And it had 5 rocks in its mouth when it was trying to talk.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's about it I had for Batman Begins. I'm really glad that you actually were willing to give it another chance, because when I went back and rewatched it, I was like, I really did judge this too harshly. Like this is not a bad movie, especially when you have Dark Knight Rises to compare it to.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There's my final question. Would you rename it, if you could, to The Dark Knight Begins? So it's Dark Knight Begins, The Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises.
No, because that's my... I hated the fact that they used the Dark Knight in the third title, and I hate they call it the Dark Knight Trilogy. Because I feel like it's all just hanging its hat on the fact the second movie is as good as it is. You can't redefine the entire fucking thing because of that. Like, this should be... Whether it's the Nolan trilogy, the Batman Begins trilogy.
That's what I've always called it, is the Nolan trilogy.
But even like the Batman Begins, like we usually, I mean, not that I even like that all the time, but sometimes even the first one will carry its name through in some way. But I just feel like everyone got so fucking horny for the Dark Knight, they just like shoehorned the title into the third movie, and then like the trilogy is called now the Dark Knight trilogy and stuff. And I feel like it's all reactive to. Overly reactive, but no, I like the title as it is, and I wish the third one had a better title, but. Again, we're not here to shit on the third one, although we're probably never going to get around to talking about the third one. So
this is the time.
I'm going to take my chances. At some point, we'll probably have to talk about the Dark Knight, though.
Absolutely, we'll have to talk about the Dark Knight and why it's okay. No, I'm just kidding. Peter's hot take of 2025.
We still haven't talked about like Heat either. No. Now that I think about it,
no.
At some point we got to do that.
There we go. We'll talk about Heat and the Dark Knight in one episode.
God.
That's a long conversation. That's going to be like a 6-hour episode.
Yeah, it's like 3 hour. The Heat's almost 3 hours long.
It is.
It's so good though that like
good movie.
I feel like once you throw it on though, it's like you're like, oh, I'll throw it on and watch half right now. 3 hours later, the credits are rolling. You're like, oh, I guess I watched the whole thing.
What day? Was it you that said that in the? Or no, it was Hayden. Hayden sent it. My parents fell asleep when we were watching The Hobbit, and so I put on Return of the King, and my dad woke up. What day is it? Oh, that's so funny.
You know what? And I'm not going to now turn this into a slamming on the Hobbits for being stupid cash grabs. But you know one thing I've noticed? Everyone always says this about like Avatar. Oh, it has no cultural significance. The Hobbit has no cultural significance. I've not seen clips from the Hobbit movies. Like, it's just all like there's no memes. Like, it's nothing like where's Lord of the Rings. Like, there's clips all over the place. There's memes. There's there's a million fucking jokes.
I mean, come on.
And it's just
my precious.
Yeah, and there's just nothing
Yeah.
for the Hobbit movies. Like,
No.
yeah, it's.
And they're still making more.
I mean, I'm intrigued, just because like with we were talking next
Yeah.
year, right? So,
Yeah.
I'm slightly intrigued because they're basically bringing everyone back. It is a cash grab. 100%. It's like, okay, so you found one spot that you can now get everyone back from the original and make a new movie 25 years later. So it is 100% a cash grab.
Yeah.
But like, all right.
The Hunt for Gollum.
Yeah, the Hunt for Gollum. But I mean, you're giving me old Ian McKellen back as Gandalf and whatever. Like, whatever. I don't know what they're going to do about the age. Everyone's much older now than they were. Because I think they got.
You seen Merry and Pippin recently?
Yeah, well, yeah, fucking what's his name? Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
Looks all of his age, and
Oh, does he?
yeah, and he's in it. He's in the
I
next.
haven't seen Orlando Bloom in years.
Yeah, there was something he was in the Gran Turismo movie, and I remember looking. I was like, oh my god, like the the years have ravaged you.
That still looks good.
Maybe they aged him up for the Gran Turismo, whatever it is. I saw him in. I was just like, oh my god, man! Like, dude, he's an elf. He can't age a minute.
Yeah.
If he's playing, I mean, well, it's actually in the middle of the first movie, so everyone has to look the same they did in the first movie, which is 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So, all right, so that gives us some time to jump on over to some news / popcorn topics, mostly news, which is good because I think we got some of these that might have some conversating to go along with. What is Hayden? New Line Cinemas, Ozempic, and Botox presents. Yeah. No kidding. And everyone's still alive, right? Well, not Bilbo, but he's. I don't think you'd need him for the new movie, right? Hunt for Gollum.
There's one.
I think he's the only one that's dead, right? From
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. I mean Christopher Lee, but I don't think you'd need him either. Because this stuff's actually in the book too, so I'm not necessarily like full on like saying like fuck you guys, you're whatever. Because like it's the whole thing where it's like they leave him with like the elves in Mirkwood, but they're like too fucking hippie because elves are fucking terrible and should be exterminated. And they're like, we felt sad for him, so we let him out to go eat and stuff, and then he escaped. It's like.
What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, I fucking hate elves, dude. And this is not just Lord of the Rings. Across all fantasy, elves are just the fucking worst. Like the way Hayden feels about Robin. Yeah, kill all elves.
That's how Tad feels about elves.
Yeah, bring them into the dungeons of fucking dwarves and let them annihilate all elves.
Moria.
And the fact they're all just piecing out, like, oh well, shit's gone bad. We're kind of part of it, but we're just gonna,
Okay, bye.
bye. Yeah, pretty much. All right, so the first one we're talking about, probably the biggest news. James Gunn has announced Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the next Superman or the Super Family film, because this all still jives with previously I had on the news, but we didn't cover because we spent a couple episodes not going into the news.
Yeah.
But James Gunn basically said there's a follow-up Superman movie, but it is not Superman 2. Superman will play a large part in it, and like I think he's given the vibe like, and he's even called like, okay, well the next Superman, the Super Family film. And so, like, there was some speculation, even last episode that I didn't get to because we didn't have time. We didn't have time to cover it. But there was some speculation that in that documentary that's coming out with the Superman, there's like an hour-long documentary, and they ended up releasing it for a bit. But now they've pulled the video off of YouTube.
Oh.
Have you seen the clip of them talking about that final speech from Superman?
No.
Like, basically, like, he gets offset, he's in full costume, and him and James Gunn are just having this big conversation about, like, what is this really about? And, like, you know, David disagrees where it's like, because James is like saying like you still have some guilt or whatever, and he's like, no, because we had the conversation with Pa Kent, like this is all done now, like he doesn't have any more, like, so it's like a true like workshopping the character for that final speech and like how it should be delivered and stuff. But there's a whole hour-long documentary, and that was in part of it. But one of the things in that documentary is somebody saw on a notepad, there's an image that was drawn out, kind of pencil sketched, of Krypto, Supergirl, and Superman flying side by side. So people are like, Super Family film?
Yeah.
What this might be. So but this is actually it now. So just to make it all clear for the people that do actually follow it, even if we haven't covered it, this is that he's been talking about. So first off, I want to address the images. The first one was posted by Gunn along with the announcement, and it was drawn by Jim Lee. The next one was posted by David Cornsweet. It was drawn by Jorge Jimenez. And the final one is posted by Nicholas Holt. It was drawn by Mitch Geralds. And they're all dated 2025, so it appears that these were all created for these announcements. And all three artists are legendary powerhouse DC artists. These are like the who's who of the last 25, 30 years of things. So huge credit to them for getting some great artists to do these here. Just looking at them before I go any further into my notes, we've got the Lex suit.
Yeah.
I remember the very first teaser. We saw some of the suits, which is actually funny because like it's the Mr. Terrific scene. And I feel like in one of the teasers we saw a little bit there. They did CG out Lois, so you didn't see that she was involved. But some of the suits there looked enough where people were like, are those Lex suits?
Yeah.
But now that I'm thinking about the movie itself, though, there was no coloring or anything. So
All black.
was there coloring in the teasers, though, I wonder? Did they, like... Because, like, I remember there was a bunch of people in the Superman, like groups and shit where they're like, oh, my God, those look like Lex suits. And I don't think it was just, like, aesthetics. Like, I want to say that there was something. Maybe it's his logo is on. I don't remember now. But either way, the full-on Lex suit is here. Any thoughts from your perspective as more of a less of a Superman fan?
I mean,
seeing these images here?
I do know about the Lex suit. I have seen that. So I've seen animated films because not only did I get into Batman animated films, I got into
it spiders out
a lot of Justice League stuff as well because it has Batman in it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it's great. I've always laughed. Cover your fucking head, Lex. Like, come on, my guy. You're fighting a fucking, like, god.
He knows Superman's not going to kill him.
Oh,
so.
I know, but Superman's also faster than a speeding bullet. All he's got to do is one punch right to the forehead. You're
just flick.
Yep. You're
knock him out
cold, my guy.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I've always thought about the Lex suit, but these look great.
Yeah.
My favorite one.
So, and the funny thing is, when you look closely, they're all Superman. This last Superman, like they've got the right logo. If you look closely, you could see like the scaling that's on David's suit. So they're all doing it in a different way.
Yeah.
But when you look close, they're all doing this version of the suit. These aren't just like, oh, I'm doing the Superman I would do in the comics. No, these are David things, but it's kind of cool to see them all done with three different artists and seeing how they would interpret them and stuff. So
yeah,
because I did look close at like, oh, can you see like the lines on his suit? Like obviously the trunks are there and stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. I think my favorite's probably the first one when it comes to Superman.
I was gonna say that too. The second one has too long of a cape, and the third one has nothing on the suit, and I don't.
Yeah, there's some vague lines there. That one's very much going for the All-Star Superman, super like animation style. So yeah, Gunn obviously dropped the news with that first image. The next film in the Super Family Saga previously said Clark will figure largely in the film, but has emphatically stated that it is not Superman 2. And he's repeatedly said that, and he's even been questioned now after this announcement where it's like, is this the movie? And does this still count? Is this not Superman 2? And he's like, yes, this is the movie I've been talking about, and no, this is not Superman 2. I don't know how that jives because the Man of Tomorrow, that's a nickname for Superman that dates back to 1939. So year year 2 of Superman included the title Man of Tomorrow. Right. So so he posted on Instagram, said Man of Tomorrow is the title. It's had all of us scratching our heads because, again, long-term Superman name. But the one thing I'll point out, there has been times that nickname has been applied to another person.
The Man of Tomorrow? Yeah.
Lex Luthor has been given that title a couple times throughout history. Nowhere near as many times as Superman, but it has been given to him.
I pulled up the trailer, the teaser, just to see what you were talking about with the armor.
Is it just the logos?
There is absolutely someone else in the bubble with Mr. Terrific, and there is a green tint to the armor in
Okay, it's the green. Yeah, okay.
It's faint,
but it's there.
But there is a green.
Yeah, so that's why
there is a green here.
That's why all of us Superman fans did the Leo. Went, up.
Yeah,
Lex suits.
You can
and
definitely see that is not black on black like it is in the film.
In the film, yeah. And we ended up speculating on the Superman like subreddits and like message groups and Twitter threads where we speculated like we're going to get the fucking Lex suit in this first movie because like
they definitely have a. You know what it reminds me of?
But James bamboozles us.
Yes.
There was the edit in the one trailer where it's like, does the president know? Cut directly to Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
It's like, You fucking bastard! You know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing.
You know what you're
You know,
doing.
this reminds me of looking at these armor sets. It reminds me of like the ODST Halo armor,
Yeah.
where it has just like that tint of green, but
Yeah.
it's mostly black.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. So
Yeah.
I had to pull it up because I didn't look at it close enough for like what you said. Like when you, obviously you're a much bigger Superman fan than me.
I just remember
I watched the teaser and I didn't
Yeah.
even think about the Lex suit.
Yeah.
So
I just remember there was a pretty extended week-long discussion back and forth about the Lex suit after that first teaser. So that's like suddenly it dawned on me just now where I'm like, wait,
where'd that start? Why did that start?
Yeah, it's like they were all black suits and shit. Like, where did I get that from?
No,
So
there's a
thank you
tint-
for checking my sanity there.
There is a tint of green there for sure.
Okay. So the beyond the announcements, there are some rumors. One of the rumors is that Nicholas Hoult is being called a co-lead of the film.
I mean,
So again, Lex has been called because he wasn't called a co-lead in this other one. They kind of talked about it maybe being like a, like it's ultimately Superman's movie, and then there's like bigger supporting roles and smaller supporting roles. Lois and Lex are bigger supporting roles, and then you get smaller ones as you go down. But to call him a co-lead has some other people scratching their head, if that's true, because it is a rumor.
Okay.
So between the co-lead thing and the fact that Superman, it's not Superman 2, makes me wonder, and some other Superman fans are wondering if there's going to be a larger threat. Perhaps a Brainiac type threat. And Superman and Lex are going to have to work together.
That would be so funny if that's the next movie after what we just got.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that just be killer? And because like it's funny because even when they've done it in the comics and the animated shows and stuff, when they've had to team up, they team up, but it's always very begrudgingly. And Lex is still doing it from his own perspective of like, I'm going to be the one to win, not Superman. It's for my own ego. It's for like, it's never about like for the greater.
A human should save humankind.
Yeah, no, there's always and there is a part of it because like I do truly think that Lex does mean well for like the world in the sense of like kind of like the Batman and Superman bullshit. I'm not a big fan of that movie and shit, but like it's kind of the realm where Batman is there, where it's like he has to like, but that's why I always like hated that Batfleck bullshit because it's like to me like you were basically taking the Lex Luthor element and putting it on Batman, and it's like, okay, Batman can have his suspicions, but for Batman to feed into those, you're putting him in the Lex realm. He's no longer Batman for me. That's why that whole fucking series rubbed me wrong.
That makes a lot of sense.
There's two ways to look at that distrust. There's the way that then takes you to the realm of like having like a contingency, and then there's the realm of like you completely fucking hate this person. You're going to gun for them.
I have to actively do something.
Yeah, and
I
that's,
can't just let this go. I have to do something.
Yeah,
that's the Lex side.
And they made
Batman's
Batman
real
Lex.
side, and there's many stories that back this up. Is he has contingencies for every single person in the Justice
See
League.
ya, Hato.
Bye,
Hato's
Hato.
going to take off. So yeah, I just I wonder if and I think that would be a brilliant thing to throw at Lex too,
Yeah.
to where it's like now he has to team up, even if it's like with his own motives on top of it. Because again, I guess that was a long way of saying I did stall in my statement of saying I do think that Lex genuinely wants the best for humanity. Now that could be bent by his own ego and his own like praise, right? He wants the praise for it. He wants to become the president. He wants to be the head of the UN, whatever. He's not going to do it for the right reasons, but I do genuinely think he wants what's best for the world.
What he thinks is best
through
for
the
world.
paradigm of his own like
Yes,
realm.
That's the
So-
thing you have to say is like when you're saying it about a villain. Well, he's doing what's best for humanity. In his view, and is his view correct, or is his view,
for those villains that are
Right.
like that, but there are the villains though that do want like humanity destroyed, and that's never been Lex. Lex
No.
is not one that wants to like wipe out the planet type thing.
some schemes and stuff like that may cause people to get hurt and or die.
Yeah.
but it's a way for him to get filthy rich or get power or anything like that. Because like you look at like the classic Reeves Superman, he's trying to knock California basically into the ocean, and then the new beachfront will be his land.
Yeah, Otisburg.
And he would be
Otisburg?
yeah, he would be rich beyond measure.
Yeah.
selling all that land.
Yeah. I do love that Gunn kept the land thing in there.
Yeah,
Because the was it Luthoria or whatever?
Yeah.
Like just it wasn't full bore, because there was been some Superman fans have complained where it's like Lex needs to be beyond just fucking land, like because they did it in Superman Returns too, where it's like, okay, he's going to use the kryptonite to build this whole thing, so he now has a new island that he could. It just got to a point where it's like Lex is not a one note dude.
No.
And so like I love this one because it was there, but it was subtle. So it was there as like a wink of like, okay, the Gene Hackman
But then
stuff
he's slandering
It's-
Batman online, and he's
Superman. Yes.
sorry. Sorry, we've been talking Batman the whole episode.
Yeah,
I apologize.
yeah.
But he's slandering Superman online. But then also he has the clone and the engineer to kick his ass physically and
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, he's got a lot of things
And
going.
he's going to put crypto down.
He doesn't ever threaten. He never.
Yeah, he does.
No.
He says, and then once I'm done, we'll put the vermin down.
Oh.
It's one of the most villainous lines he says in the film.
And then shoots that guy as well. That's
Although that was when they were flying by, when
Yeah.
when he was getting him to the cell,
Yeah.
that he sees him. He's like, "What? How do you control a super dog? You put super squirrels into its head." He's like, "Then once we're done with our testing, it's like then we'll put not
I
vermin.
forgot about that.
Yeah. So that's I remember because it's like, ooh, that's there's a way to lose the entire fucking audience.
And he's a bad guy.
Kind of like the engineer throwing the shit at crypto, and you hear him whimpering as he
Yeah, as it's all over his face.
trying to push it off his
Yeah.
face. So my next thing, however, I also wonder if the It's Not Superman 2 strictly comes down to Gunn not viewing this as the next chapter or a sequel. Not that this isn't the next part of the story, but that it's not directly related. Now I'm trying to explain this as best I can. Similar to how in the comics, when a new writer takes over for the character, technically the next book is after the last one. It is the next book, right? It's the next, if it's December, then it's January. It's the next book, and sometimes you'll even take elements of the story in, but like when they end up breaking them up into omnibuses and shit, it's the so-and-so book run, and then it's the so-and-so run. It is technically the next one, but it's not. It isn't, right? It's like a duality thing.
The way
of
to
like,
explain it is Iron Man 2 is Iron Man.
yeah,
Avengers is Avengers.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 is Iron Man. Iron Man 1, 2, and 3 would go in the omnibus. The Avengers events would go in the Avengers omnibus.
yeah,
that kind of
that's
thing.
cleaner though, because this isn't, because it is technically. I do wonder if this is an actual full-on Superman movie, because Man of Tomorrow.
Right.
But the Gunn is making the distinction of the sense of like it's not Superman 2 because we're not going to like immediately follow up with all of the ramifications of what happened in this first movie here. It's almost like the next, like, okay, you've got the so-and-so run, and then there's the so-and-so run, even though that came December and January.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, like if you're a kid that's reading comics, like that is your next book. But like when you zoom out, they're parts of different
Story.
like
Yeah.
overall arcs, right? Batman, right? Like the Dark Knight Rises, like that. Okay, what was the comic issue that came right before that? Is anyone going to view that as the sequel to that last comic from the one before? No, it's the beginning of so I kind of wonder if Gunn's being cheeky and kind of like dividing it up in that sense, where it's like, yes, this is going to be a fucking Superman movie, but it is not Superman 2 because I am not going to completely. We're not just jumping off from where this one left off and do. I think we're going to have a massive jump. I think between Peacemaker season 2, I still have some suspicions, some big shit's happening there, and Supergirl. I think we're going to be in a spot where when this comes out, we're in such a radical different place that we're not even going to be fucking touching Superman 1 in a realm of like. Except for the fact that we have characters that carry over, I think it's going to be a completely different thing. So I wonder if he's being cheeky and using almost like comic book vibes, where it's like it's not Superman 2. But we're all going to walk out. We're all going to walk out going, from our perspective as movie fans, that was Superman 2.
Yeah.
And like, yes, Supergirl and some other people might show up. Maybe even Brainiac shows up. Whatever. But there will be an element of like culture will look at it and going, "Oh, it was Superman 2. It was Corn Sweat's second Superman film." I just wonder if Gunn's being cheeky a little bit because he's done that to us.
He's using the comic books to fool us.
Yes, like exactly. So as of right now, 100% confirmed: Superman, Lex, Hawkgirl, and Jimmy Olsen. Those are the 100% confirmed.
Ah, thank God we got Jimmy Olsen. That guy is a ladies' man.
And and then next up, rumored, and I put the one at the top, Lois, because there's no way Lois isn't in this.
I mean,
there's just no fucking way. But the rest of the way, rumored, Jon Stewart.
Okay.
Because Lanterns is also coming out between now. Because Lanterns coming out sooner than later. Peacemaker.
Okay.
Is rumored to be in it. Lobo.
Oh.
Played by
Momoa.
Supergirl, probably. Crypto isn't mentioned, but I'm sure he'll probably. And then Brainiac is also being rumored that. Okay. So, last and most exciting bit: this film is coming out July 9th, 2027.
Okay.
So that is very, very quick. There has been a lot of people online going, there's TV shows that can't have that quick of a turnaround that this movie is having.
Makes you wonder if Gunn's already done some work on it.
Yeah.
He had all that Superman stuff just laying around. Maybe he's done a little bit of something here and there.
Yeah. First of all, not to rub any salt in any wounds, that will mean that this comes out before the Batman 2. Couple months, but it'll come out before the Batman 2. Which is wild.
I don't have like a "Why do you hurt me" button. Like this hurts me so much.
You should throw that on the list. I can try to find something.
You know what?
Go to hell, Powers.
There you go.
I did.
We could do that
I
one.
did see something where it's like, in the time since the Batman, James Gunn has been fired from Marvel.
God.
Suicide Squad. He did get Suicide Squad out right before the Batman, so that he actually didn't. So maybe not the firing, but he was fired when the Batman 2 came out. He had got Suicide Squad out. He got rehired by Marvel, did Guardians 2, Guardians the Christmas Special, became the Kevin Feige for the DCU, did Superman, did Peacemaker, will have done Supergirl, will have done there's just all these things before Batman.
Oh
the Batman
my God!
2.
It has been 1,282 days since the Batman was released.
I'm not trying to rub salt in the wound, but there has been a lot of people that pointed that out, that it's like, whoa, we're getting this before the Batman 2. Again, it's only months because we're talking May versus October, so it'll be the same year. Also,
wait, you said May? I thought it comes out in July.
Oh, July. I'm sorry, July and October.
Okay.
So, also 2027 is fucking stacked. Star Wars Starfighter in May. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, June 27. So the third in the Miles
Animated,
Morales
yeah.
animated. Man of Tomorrow in July, The Batman in October, Secret Wars in December, and then Lord of the Rings: A Hunt for Gollum in December as well. So it's like,
Jesus.
that is a stacked year. Also, the first time ever in history, Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man will all have a film coming out in the same year. If none of them get delayed. I'm really suspicious that Spider-Man will get delayed again, because there's been a lot of shenanigans apparently about just getting that done. There's so much to do with that, like when it comes to animators and all that kind of stuff. So if all three of them hold, it'll be the first time in history that the three probably most popular comic book characters of all time drop a movie in the same year.
Jesus,
So.
I just looked up 2027 because I'm just like, that's a lot of movies.
Yeah,
Not
and
only
that's tip of the iceberg.
that's
I'm just
tip
pointing
of
out.
the-
Yeah,
That's tip of the iceberg. You got Godzilla X Kong Supernova, How to Train Your Dragon 2 live action, Shrek 5, Sonic the Hedgehog 4, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem 2.
yeah. There's a lot. 20.
Oh my God, they're making a Legend of Zelda movie?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, live action. Also, yeah, so there is all that. And then that brings us to the next news thing, which is one that I wanted to talk about last time, but I'm bringing it back around. And it's a rumor that's been brought up, and I think Hayden's even mentioned suspicions. Is Marvel planning a third Avengers film?
He has brought this up.
So this is not the first time we talked about it, both on the show and off, but new rounds of rumors have Scooper saying that he isn't necessarily scooping this, but he's had conversation with someone who would know. And again, it wasn't a scoop, but just talk between people, and then him taking from that talk what he will. So he's making it a very big distinction. This isn't a scoop or anything.
Okay.
But essentially, no writers or directors have been made public, and no new production companies have been accounted for that have been created. So if this were happening, it would have to be something that would already have been in development, which means something like maybe Blade, or something that could have been part of Doomsday's production. Did they basically do two movies while filming Doomsday? So maybe part 1 and part 2 type thing, even if it has a different title like Infinity War and Endgame, because originally that was part 1 and part 2, right?
Yeah.
So there's suspicion about that. So he spitball things like Avengers, maybe time runs out, Battle World, Everything Dies, or Illuminati, which he points to it that 100% at one point there was an Illuminati film being in development. Hasn't been in a while, but it's like there was in development at some point. So and that's most of what he said, but some ideas of them filming 2 films right now. I just wanted to point this out. I did some looking at this. So usually Marvel films, even big ones, shoot for 3 to 4 months in principal photography. And then post-production's massive, right? But like you even go back to like Infinity War, Endgame, 3 to 4 months. It's pretty standard to what they film on sets and stuff. Doomsday has been filming for 5 months now, and they're not done. So they're still going. So that makes me wonder if they're filming 2 fucking movies right now. Because there is, to what you were saying when you're looking at 2027, right now there is a Marvel Untitled date plugged into the summer of 2027.
There is.
So so there's some suspicion that they could potentially whatever. Also, I've not covered it, but there's been a number of I've seen a number of actors talk about how the last month or so the film's script for Doomsday is not even finished. There's been a number of actors that have said that. I mean, Alan Cummings, there's been a number of actors that are on set that have said that, yeah, we're shooting and this is crazy because we don't even have the scripts finalized. And it's like, you're telling me they've been filming for 5 months and they don't have the end of the script? But
Why not?
are they deceiving us to where the script of the first movie was done, but the second movie they're literally filming as they're writing, and they don't because there's just no way you go into 5 something months of fucking shooting and your script wasn't done. That's just there's rewrites and shit. That's one thing, but like I just suddenly because
having it actually done,
yeah,
is something that would be
needed
for an Avengers film.
Because I skipped most of those because a lot of people were taking them as just a negativity, like, oh, see, Marvel doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't even have this shit written finally before they're filming it and shit. So that's why I mostly skipped it. But I've had that in my back pocket, and then suddenly when this all came out, I was like, wait a minute. All that talk about the scripts, what if they're fucking lying to us and we end up finding out 2-3 years from now and we flash back and they're like, oh yeah, I remember saying that. It's because it was the second script for Doomsday Part 2. And I don't think it'll be called Doomsday Part 2, but let's just say there is. In May, we get a third fucking surprise motherfucker Avengers film. And then we end up finding out, oh yeah, when we said that, we meant that the second script wasn't finalized yet.
Yeah.
So just me piecing some things. I'm getting the strings and...
You got the red web going.
Yeah, my fucking hair is a mess and shit. Could that be because they're filming 2 films? They're just fudging about scripts, and it's actually the second script that's not done. One other note: Doomsday and Secret Wars are not being shot back to back. So this whole 5 months of filming isn't a matter of like, oh, it's because they're filming both these together. They have distinctly said that no. These 2 films are not filming back to back. And see, there will be a break. May not be a long break, kind of like Harry Potter we talked about. They had like a couple month break between the first and second film. But there was a break there. It wasn't Lord of the Rings where they filmed 3 films at once. So this 5 months of filming and there's no end in sight. They're still fucking filming it. That can't be because, oh, we're also filming shit for Secret Wars. No. That's a different...
Can I add fuel to the fire?
Go on.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you have to take a second to look this up. When we were doing our prep for last week's episode, wasn't there a news topic about Deadpool getting his own team?
Yes.
Okay. Hear me out. We were told initially that Deadpool wasn't going to be in Doomsday.
Yeah. And it's now been confirmed he is in it. Also, there was a news article I didn't necessarily cover today because whatever. But Ryan Reynolds has like tried to like walk back that not that Deadpool's in it, but like, hey, don't be too excited. I don't think Deadpool's that big of a part because I haven't set foot on set yet. But I'm like, is he a liar? Because he's not in the suit most of the time. He mostly is a voice actor. So he doesn't need to be on set if Deadpool was in it a lot.
Right.
Because he didn't do the dance, for instance, in the last one, right?
That was a stunt guy.
That was one of the stunt guys. You have the other stunt guy. So it's like, there could easily be a stunt guy right now that's doing all these fights and shit. And then he's just like, well, I haven't been on set.
But also just track my logic here, right? Initially, Deadpool doesn't have a team. All of a sudden, we have a 5-month shoot, and Deadpool has a team. What if that's not part of the original movie? What if that's part of the new script that everyone keeps getting new pages of?
Yeah.
Where they don't have a finished script. Oh, now we need Deadpool and everything like that. I'm just saying, the breadcrumbs are starting to line up, Tad.
I'm 75% sure that May 2027 we're going to be seeing a surprise fuck. And we're going to get it announced long before then. But I do think that I'm very suspicious that, and it may not even be another Avengers, but there's something big that they're going to plug in that'll be critical to this entire storytelling for these movies.
It's Deadpool 5.
Like
what the fuck?
Like it'll be some kind of bridge. If it's not Avengers blank, it'll be something that you need to watch between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah. I just think that it's interesting that there's a lot of things that are like, no, that's not a thing. And then we have a 5-month shoot, and all of a sudden it's a thing.
And it's, again, so we're already a month over, and it's not even like, oh, they're about to wrap, or, again,
they're still going.
They're still going, and it's just like, that doesn't make sense. And this whole idea that, oh, it's because the script's not finalized yet, and they're rewriting. There's part of me, it's like, do you really? I mean, for one, the Russos.
What if that's what they're telling the actors to say?
Exactly, because like the Russos are professionals.
Yep.
They never ran over. They weren't running into fucking Infinity War Endgame with like unfinalized scripts. Like, I think we're being fucking bamboozled here, and I think 100% in the next 6 months or so.
You've come around to the way that Hayden was talking. What was that, like a month and a half ago?
It was a while back. Yeah, it was probably the last Marvel movie even that it came out.
Was it Fantastic Four when we were talking about it?
Because I think his thought process is like Doomsday going to be a part 1 and part 2. And again, I don't necessarily buy in it because I don't think that they're necessarily into part 1s and part 2s. So I think that but doesn't mean that it won't function that way. Endgame was part 2 for Infinity War.
Right.
When it was originally called Avengers Infinity War part 1 and part 2, those are still the movies we got. They just decided like, hey, let's put a different name on this. And I think they'll do the same thing here. So it's not going to be Doomsday part 2, or it won't be pre-Secret Wars, like whatever. But I honestly think like something like Battle World. Like you see it established or whatever, and then now you're going to get like a sense of like basically explore Battle World and get that whole fucking like thing ran out to the point where then Secret Wars can happen and you get that culmination happen. Yeah. I just have a feeling, we're 75%, and I might be going a little bit out on a limb a bit because that might be going higher than I should. But there's enough bread.
You have faith.
There's enough breadcrumbs. Yeah, there's enough breadcrumbs here that like where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's some smoke here where it's like. Yeah. God knows what it is. Wouldn't it be hilarious if it ended up being fucking Blade? Because the leaker mentioned like it would be because
they took all the costumes from Blade and used it with
Sinners and
Sinners.
Stuff. Yeah, and that's what he said. He's like it would probably because that's the other thing. It's easy to usually find when something's happening because like a lot of people don't realize when they're doing a movie like they start a small business. Yeah. And they will create a business that has an accounting department. You see all this in the credits, right? Accounting, everything you can imagine. I mean, there's fucking like who's buying the paper to bring into the offices. They literally set up a small business.
Drivers,
everything,
the assistants, all that.
And a lot
of
times they set up like LLCs or like it would be a legitimate business. That is a business for the 6 months that they do their filming, and then they basically put the thing out of business. It's like the production company. Like the production company starts a business for the sake of the movie.
Yeah.
And so, like, a lot of times with all that hiring, like, you'll get some, like, wind to something where it's like, oh, they're hiring a bunch of people for some unnamed Marvel movie. And the fact that that isn't happening is why the person's saying, like, it's got to be something that would be in some stage of development already that we're just not accounting for. Something that's on the board that we've all thought, oh, that's for 3 years from now, and they're just in early pre-production. But it turns out, no, they're actually...
Spider-Man 5?
I mean, it could be Spider-Man. That would be tougher because with Sony's fucking fingers in it, it'd be harder to pull the trick.
That's true.
I had this theory at one point that what if the whole Vision Quest thing turns out to be a fucking movie, and it's the middle ground where it's like the whole Wanda and then like the two boys and like I've given up on that because they have said they've wrapped the Vision Quest series and shit. They wrapped filming on that and stuff, but I think there's something going on here. So we got a few more minutes. Let's go to that was the two big ones that had the most conversation. The next one, too bad Hayden's gone now. Halo, a Halloween video game is on the way.
It looks great.
At Game,
I've only seen the teaser, but it still looks fun.
Yeah, at GameCon 25, they featured a teaser for Halloween the game. It's using the Unreal Engine 5. The creators say they've faithfully recreated Haddonfield for the game. It will have a single-player mode, which is crazy, as well as a multiplayer asymmetrical mode. In the multiplayer mode, 5 players work together to rid the town of the Shape, which is also a player. In the single-player mode, you play as the Shape and you're killing NPCs, and you can be put down. You can be bamboozled
for years.
Oh God, yeah. Also, Carpenter's involved.
Yeah,
because he's a big gamer. Also, Nick Castle has been tabbed to do mocap for Michael Myers. So
nice.
The original Shape. I will say, there's part of me that's like, God, he's like 50-something years older than when he did that. Can he really move the same way? He didn't move the same way in the new one as he did in the original. So I don't know. Either way, I'm super excited. And then next up, we've got Mortal Kombat 2 has been delayed. Quite sizably. We just saw posters of it last night at the theaters, which is sad. It's been delayed 7 months from October this year to May of next year. No word on why. It could be the reshoots, but it's interesting that it's now a summer film. The trailer garnered 107 million global views, so I really wonder if this is really just the studio looking at it and going, this isn't a fall film, man. We can actually do some business in the summer with this, because they're pretty much wrapped in filming now. I mean, like I said, we're doing trailers. They had already started the marketing, and there's just part of me that wonders if like the response to the marketing made them think like, this isn't an October film, man. We should be putting this out in May, which is what they're doing. So that is probably the positive way to look at things. The negative way is they've done some test screenings and it's gone poorly. I don't have anything written down for that, but I'm just speculating. And now they're just like, we got to do some reshoots and improve this film. And I just don't know if that... I feel like you would have figured that out before you started your marketing campaign. Because the marketing campaign started. We've seen trailers. We've got posters in our fucking theater. Like, this is like... This movie's coming out in October the way it all looks. So, and that doesn't seem to be...
All of a sudden to have it delayed 7 months.
It has me wondering if like the online response and shit where they're like, we made a mistake by dumping this in October, because that's like award season. Some movies can come out in that time with very little competition, but people just don't go to movies in October like they do in the summer. So
they got other things to do.
Yeah. And then the last thing I've got, and this is my last news bit, it's a little bit shorter, but Gambit is not going to, he's going to have a toned down accent for the Avengers.
Ah, okay.
Tatum was talking to Variety and said, I'm not going to go full Cajun. Directors Anthony and Joe Russo wanted things to be funny, but they don't want to go full Deadpool. They want to keep the.
I mean, that makes sense.
They want to keep the drama and keep it tight. When Gambit gets serious, that's when he drops his Mardi Gras mask, and that's when things do matter. That's what old Tatum said there. Also, there have been rumors that he might be coming face to face with Doom more directly. So, and a lot of those rumors I just throw away because Marvel has openly pretty much told us they lie to us. You know, they'll release shit to specifically throw people off. But here's where I'm going to put some credence into that. I don't know why you'd send some low-level mutant after Doom, but that aside, right? Peter's glaring at me for anyone on the audio side. But the one thing that I will throw
low-level mutant. Shut the fuck up.
He's
an X-Men. There is no such thing as low-level mutant on the X-Men team.
What's the opposite of omega-level mutant? What's this is a long time, 20-something year thing. I've never liked Gambit, and Peter's always loved him, so I've tweaked at Peter for Gambit for years. I remember being like, yeah, see, that's why Gambit sucks so bad. That's why they can't get a movie off the ground, because they've spent 20 years trying to get a fucking Gambit movie made. So, but the one thing I will say that gives some credence to this is it's actually legitimately been reported that Tatum was actually injured on set.
Oh.
And he even mentioned it in one of his interviews. I didn't get the quote, but he basically just talked about like, yeah, I got to remember I'm not in my 20s anymore, and like my back hurts. I'm probably going to be like getting in like rehab type stuff for like the next 6 months or more, and I'll probably be hurting for longer than that. So he did get hurt on set. If you're not having action scenes, are you going to get hurt on set?
Get hit by a car, maybe, you know. Like.
So all I'm saying is I think that there was probably something going on there,
Yeah.
and so I would suspect that old Cajun might be having some face-off with Dr. Doom.
I did want to ask you one question right before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Did you see the trailer for 007 First Light?
I did, actually. I almost threw that in the news the last couple of weeks, but I didn't. I'm always guarded on Bond games because they've never yet surpassed GoldenEye.
Do you know the studio who's making it?
No, I know there's a lot of hype behind it, and like the trailer looks good, and they're saying all the right things. A lot of people are tying it to like it's going to be as good as the Indiana Jones game and stuff.
It's the studio that made Hitman.
Oh yeah.
So that definitely perked up my radar.
You know the one thing I want? GTA 5. There's that short run of missions where you're playing as Franklin and you get hired to be an assassin and you're sniping people and all that kind of shit. Give me a whole game of that. Because, like, Hitman is not really that. It's too much like I'm going to, like, fucking Rube Goldberg. No, give me something where I'm just fucking, like, there is a person and this is their fucking patterns they run and I've got to set up somewhere in a fucking sniper nest and just fucking shoot them.
Those games exist. It's called Sniper Elite.
Played those. Those are so-so.
That's what you're talking about. It's like
I
you
don't
set
know.
Up, you shoot Hitler in the balls.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, but I played one and it just got too fucking cutesy where it was like, oh, now you've got fucking a night mission where you can't fucking shoot until a plane's flying over. Fuck this shit, dude. Just and like, yeah, it was okay. It was closer to what I've ever seen, but like, yeah, that GTA 5, that slight little run where it was like, give me a whole game of this, dude. Just let me be someone. Give me a full fucking sandbox city, and like you're just gonna build like missions where it's like different parts of missions will take you to different parts of the city, and you're gonna have like aggressive fucking cops to where like if you're not playing well, you're getting fucking busted. So that you have to like plan it out, almost make it like a like Ocean's 11 type, where it's like every fucking hit you're gonna have to like do like, you know. Stretches of time,
a different getaway, and everything.
Yeah, like how are you gonna get away? Like what's your escape route?
If you do the same getaway 2 times in a row, you're gonna get busted because they saw the last one.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It's just something I've always wanted, and that slight taste in GTA 5. I was like, please let this just be something where it's like. They almost do those grind things where it's like one small part of it now becomes something where it's like cool. And Spider-Man, it's like here's 75 more across the map that you got to do. I was just hoping that with GTA 5, I'm like, just give me something like that where it's like, cool, now you've got assassinations where you can play.
Turned out to only be 4.
It's like 4, yeah. It's like, God damn it, dude. That was so fun. Yeah, I did see that. I mean, I'll always play a Bond game, but we've yet to see one surpass GoldenEye.
I'm excited for it. It looks really good.
Yeah. Can't wait. All right, so reminder for everyone, we will be, this is actually an episode that should have been coming a week from today, but I am going to Mexico for my 40th birthday, ringing in the 40s, going into my midlife crisis or whatever they call it and stuff. So I don't know. Sometimes I can wake up and not hurt, so I don't know if I'm old yet, but I'm getting there. So this is actually the episode that should have been on the 13th, but so we moved it early, which means that we will not be back for 3 weeks. We'll be back on the 27th for the next episode. Which we are talking about next time on episode 69. So we are talking nice. And then in parentheses, immature comedies. So, yeah, any kind of comedy that has not infantile, juvenile humor, that could be whatever you want. That can be like your scary movies. That can be your,
Not another teen movie,
American Pie, like just Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Just those ones where it's just like what every high school boy, just those movies are just made for them. Like we're talking those kind of movies.
Is it titties?
That's not in the movie. I hate it so much. But that's next time because it was my episode and it was episode 69. And I'm like, I would regret it forever if we didn't embrace that it's episode 69. So, and what better way to do it than immature humor movie? So that will be in 3 weeks. But until then, I will sign off by saying what I always do, which is let your geek flag fly high. Or love what you love, let your geek flag fly high, and never let anyone say anything to you about guilty pleasures. I don't know why I can say it perfectly like 3 or 4 episodes in a row, then one time it just fucking...
It's because it
is complex.
You haven't had enough buffer in between episodes. So
there's that too. I'm getting punchy here. So,
what the hell are you?
I'm Batman.
I mean, we had the button. I had to use it.
Yeah, it's true. You haven't used it all episode.
Yeah.
You used it last episode for the next time on, but not this episode until now.
I showed restraint.
Oh.
Discipline, like Batman.
And we'll end it, of course, by I'll say Obi-Wan Kenobi so you can't hit the button.
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The YouTube side got it, but the podcast side did not.
Damn it!
All right, guys. See y'all later. Thanks for joining in the chat. Love seeing Hayden saying fuck off. That's the first thing I look over and see Hayden saying fuck off to you earlier because you were talking about Robin and bears and serpents and stuff. So, all right. See you guys.
Bye, everyone.